Ready, rip. Praying to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis S on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. Coming correct. A fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking its head. Indian honest. Wearing my Hans and strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey, I jump on that track. Ready to roll. Ready to rip. Ready to reach. Place my bets. Hey, you never know when playing on hopes what you could achieve. Making the goal. Peace with the soul. Don't matter the bottle with what you believe. Cause if I'm taking it all in, the calling is harder with nothing that's harder than free. Not giving up though. Don't trip. Gotta go. Take a slip. Make a pass in the low. Put it down the gas for a show. Slide a pass in the grass for the opo. Got first, never last for the oh no. To the pass, to the glass, to the foe. Cause I'm going past all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come, we don't feast with the beast and the evil hunting lust. Burn your cheeks when I speak with my real passion, love. Turning all your tricks against you cause you're one and only master. Ready to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis S on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. Coming correct. A fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking its head. Indian honest. Wearing my Hans and strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey. And I don't care if you don't know my name now. Cause you'll hear when my old lady goes to scream out. Sunset, sunrise, 45 to shine down. Only shine is the truth to the few in power. That's why I roll with God. Middle finger, y'all. Making trust in your clicks with your demigod. Worship to the money, your material. You'll get ripped in half, Sodom cash to Gomorrah. And if a wolf ever should come across on your path, aiming straight for your goods, make a trade to his cash, bait with the woods, replace for your trash. Nah, you can have it, sucker. Ready to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis S on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. Coming correct. A fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking its head. Indian honest. Wearing my Hans and strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis S on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip. Coming correct. A fish in the water. Hit my marks. Hooking its head. Indian honest. Wearing my Hans and strapped in his harness. Ready to rip. Hey. Let's rip. Princess, yeah, oh man, with that body riding, late model princess, yeah. If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like Carson Macedo, and they growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. I'm just a lap car trying to survive, running in the back, fearing my life. Cause there's a black 2041 guy adding to the junk in the field with some white on white crimes. Or is it 99 maybe? I don't give a damn, but the bank statements lately adding up through the junk that the crazy man's making. Reckon her, reckon him, non-binary maybe, who knows? If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like Carson Macedo, and they growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. Carson Macedo. And I don't know where we go from here and what we think about it, but it seems to me gotta be about it. Time for talk and speak comes across this week, especially when dotting I's and crossing T's. It seems to be what they all want and what they need, and then you'll go, oh no, just like them cars. Down when he goes, and they get to finally feel like Carson Macedo. If I don't like 'em, I slide 'em like tossing mosquito, and they growl about it. Lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, look in the sink with my torpedoes. Tossing mosquito. Ready, rip. Praying to God, ready to rip. On my high, ready to rip. With that armor, ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ready to rip. Hey, ready to rip. Ooh, yeah. Trying my hardest to stay with the best. Flexing Giannis S on my chest. Facing problems down the depths. Ready to rip.
Oh my, we are here. Oh my, we are here today. Yes, sir, we do. We are playing the game. Oh, the game has just hit. Oh, they're texting me already. I'm not listening to them. They're trying to get me to stop. We ain't gonna stop. There ain't no hell, heaven, or high water. Hold on, we need to pray. Hold on, music's back up.
First the blast for the oh no, to the pass of the glass of the foe, cause I'm gonna pass all you cowards with ease. And when them speeding demons come,
all right, we're in it now. We're in it, guys. Oh my. We are here. White T with the AE. Oh, we need to make some more songs is what we needed. We need to come out with a new old jam. Maybe I should play that where's that Chili Bow coming song? If Chili Bow is coming, I'm probably not going to be there. The building hates me. It always does. I've been mistreated in the building too many times. I can't go back. I got to stand on my own 2 feet at one point. At one of these years, as attractive as it is, we got to stay away. It's just an event. It's not a woman. Okay. Anyways, we are here today with some interesting news for the situation here today. We are drinking water, so we won't be slurring our words and passing out and yelling about Broke Joe or Sugar Bear or anything like that. We are in Jeremy Elliott's time slot, but Jeremy Elliott just don't care anymore. He's inconsiderate of the world. We give him a freaking Chicago Blackhawks jacket, thinking he'll be nice, and he's not. He's just not. He's just not a nice guy. I mean, I thought he looked like the Penguin from Batman for one or more reasons, but he's just a bad guy. The Penguin is the most loving animal in the world. I mean, there's movies and documentaries about this shit. He is just next level. So, I don't know why Jeremy Elliott, I'm on Tuesdays live, and now he's Mondays. All of a sudden, bam. Last Monday, when we had Lance DeWeese on the show, I told Lance on Saturday, I'm like, hey, let's do this show on Monday night. Tuesday is Jeremy. And he's like, all right, cool. Respect, PA people. It's Lance DeWeese. We want PA people watching for the Lance DeWeese show. Obviously, we're taking Lance DeWeese's time. I know that means nothing to you normal people, but taking Lance DeWeese's time, I don't know how to compare. That would be like late model people. That would be like Del McDowell's coming on the show. And there's like a Georgia Southeastern regional podcast that comes on that's from that area. You don't want to like double step on that, right? So Jeremy Elliott, it's Tuesdays. We do Monday. Nope. All of a sudden, I'm going to PRI, Chaz. Sorry. We're doing Mondays now. Okay, randomly. I had no idea he was live as we were live. And then he's live last night, Monday night. Why? What happened? What's the deal, Jeremy? So, since he did that, we're on his time slot now. I may just go ahead and take it. I might just do Monday and Tuesday. Just because. This is no warnings to anyone else. Just do it. All right, if we're just going to slap people around in this little bitty dirt talking on a camera to, the 45 and 55 and up crowd online, By the way, 55 and up, when I did my demographics to sell to people, I did YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. YouTube 55 and up is 45% of the viewership on YouTube. 45% is 55 and up. This is also why Jeremy is successful on YouTube. Facebook's evenly dispersed. TikTok's a little more on the younger side. It's like 15% 55 and up on TikTok analysis demographics. Now, for some reason, even in consulting with David Gravel, I have the highest female viewership of all. I don't know why. It's probably because I look fly and got that chain, and they see that white tee with the AE, boy, with the glasses with the black white trim. Oh, with the Oakley. I know why I have the highest female ratership of everyone online in the racing world. I'm number one. David Gravel was like 6 or 7%. Jeremy's like 2. I'm at 12, buddy. I'm at 12. So I'm outdoing them there. But yeah, the 55 and up crowd. Y'all are here. So we're competing. Me and Jeremy Elliott are competing for the Social Security bracket of the viewership sprint car world, I guess. You know, me and Jeremy had a big argument the other day about the benefits of being on Flow versus Sprint Car Unlimited. Sure, you get paid evenly. Sure, pay the tracks, but we're just arguing about how being on Flow, there is a certain element of producing a marketing angle. There is an advertisement value to being on Flow. And we got into the argument, and I don't know if I'm wrong on this. I think for 100% of a fact that Flow Racing put Port Royal on the map to the place it is today. Without Flow Racing, Port Royal is not it would have been bigger, but it would not be as big as it is today without Flow Racing. I would almost say in that same era, not only did Flow Racing make Port Royal a big deal, it also platformed the name and driver and driving style of one known as Anthony Macri. I'll stand my ground on this. I'm sorry, Jeremy. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, no, it didn't. I'm sorry. Flow and Port got together at a certain period of time. You had your little era of the COVID or what's happening here. Everybody was watching it every Saturday night, and they saw this. And even if they were at the tracks, they were seeing it. This Anthony Macri ripping the boards at Port. Oh, my God. Macri and Port Royal are bigger entities today because of Flow Racing in that era. You're not gonna convince me otherwise, Jeremy. I'm sorry. But anyway, I digress. I don't even know how I just got on that subject. I have the 12% female viewership, so I should be proud, right? My admiration or my validation has been settled, right? I don't need to be the Andrew Tate with the Bugatti to outdo y'all. I just got to sit here. And sure, Jeremy, sure. You would give Cody Summer, because this came up, he would give Cody Summer about $1.5 million to broadcast a dome sprint car race. But he don't think anyone will do it because of the Flow cartel. The Flow that we were arguing about, the Flow cartel and how Flow operates and Spire and all these people. Speaking of Spire and all these people, just now that Chili's is in the game with Spire and this, guy in the flannel who was a dirt racer but's in NASCAR, this Jeff guy, not Jeff Gordon, obviously. He came in on flip-flops. But since Chili's and all this stuff, and Geo, and there's this other thing too. They got this driver switcheroo program at Spire now, where I guess Geo's gonna go run like some kind of GoPro go-kart on the weekends when he's not dirt racing, I guess, and they're gonna switch it up. Or maybe he's gonna run like a 4 500 or something. A Skip Barber, is that what's gonna happen? I don't know, but Chili's is involved in dirt racing. So here's what I'm asking. Since Spire purchased this charter, which a lot of people want to know how much, apparently 400,000 or more, blah, blah, blah. That's perfectly fine in evaluation because that's what you see the spot's going to make and potentially more. I don't have a problem with that. But here's what I'm saying. Y'all have been sitting here hearing me yell and scream that I think one of the ways the streaming companies and Flow in particular could expand the brand. All Brad Sweet and everybody wants to do is make it bigger. Ooh, we're here to love and save sprint car racing. Make it bigger. Of course, that's what I've been screaming about, and they took all my ideas and made the series and blah blah blah. But what I'm saying is expand it. You're right there in this Flow Racing organization now. You got Chili's on a car. What's my idea been, Brad? Kyle? Caitlin? I probably talked to Caitlin about this more than hell, probably than either one of you. But what's been my idea with Flow and High Limit and these streamers? Somebody in there needs to go, because streaming in itself hinders the expansion of the audience. This is when I break it down. Sprint cars being on ESPN Speed World in the 80s and stuff is in the early 90s is what made it more of a broader accepted sport. Because when people would come on to ESPN to watch the basketball game at 1 o'clock and there's sprint cars on at 12:30, they watch 15 minutes before the race ends, and now all of a sudden it's more than just a sprint car fan that saw it. It expanded the brand of dirt track sprint car racing. And then when Speed Channel came around, it segmented the racing audience from the rest of the world. And that's how you actually got the base level to pay-per-view and streaming, is you segmented a certain genre away from society, thus destroying its public outreach and new viewerships and all this stuff, which kind of tanked the whole industry as far as awareness and just people coming to the racetracks, because now they don't even know what they are. I was at PRIs, plenty of these shows. You were talking about how they're in these towns and people just don't know what they are or even heard of a dirt track. What do you mean, dirt bikes? This is how you got to that point of raised idiocracy with dirt track racing. So we're here to the extreme points where not only are we segmented now from society on a channel, we're segmented and you gotta pay for it. So you're definitely screwed. Now, you can't just flip to the Flow channel and watch it with your cable package. You have to actually go and give it money to see something you've never seen in your life before. Maybe a YouTube highlight or a Facebook clip, or maybe Kyle said sprint cars are cool when you were watching NASCAR. But now you want me to pay for something I don't even know if I like it. What? So, I've been saying because of this, somebody needs to come along with their ooh and go out to one of these restaurant chains where most people watch stuff. Heck, if I want to watch a football game and I'm out on the road, I go to a local bar or eateries to watch it with people around. You got to get one of these chains, and Chili's is part of an umbrella, by the way. This is the whole creepy thing with Spire and their investment groups and all this. It's an umbrella. It's kind of like when you see the Vanguard, State Street, BlackRock, and it trickles, an umbrella of tentacles into thousands of different companies and has a control mechanism on 3 different segments of society, basically. But so Chili's, what I mean by that is Chili's is connected to this company and that company, and it's an ownership group that owns these companies. That's why when you see a Chili's, it's not just a Chili's in the parking lot. Most of the time, you'll see like a Chili's, and then you'll see like a Five Below, or this store, or that store, or a Macy's, or Marshalls, or something. They're all kind of grouped up. Every time one pops up, all of them pop up together because that's an ownership group that owns all of them. They're a part of all of them. Investment groups, technically. So, outside of that, maybe once again, the only reason I'm saying that is because Chili's probably spurs into a bunch of different restaurants and eateries. So, base level, we got Chili's involved here. Is now, or are now, one of y'all going to take my next idea, which is to go to one of these eateries and make a deal, Flow Racing, with these people to dedicate a television to Flow Sports. Like, or say there's 50 or 20 TVs at each restaurant. You're dedicating 3 of them, one in each segment of the restaurant, to the Flow Sports streaming service. So that while people are out, they can view this item and expand the brand and sport of this item. and watch your car race as well. You could see the Chili's car while you're at Chili's racing now. So we could at least start base level. We don't have to go up the tentacles of the octopus and reach all the little, things that Chili's is actually a part of in their daddies and all that. Just the Chili's brand. Is this now going to happen where Flo, some of y'all, one of y'all, any of y'all are going to go around and strike a deal with all the Chili's restaurants in the United States to dedicate a few TVs to Flow Sports now? And you could be showing your wrestling and all your other stuff throughout the week. And then on the Fridays and Saturday nights, Tuesday nights, you got your high limit races. You got your pick the premium thing, send it all out, one branch email. This Friday, Saturday, these TVs will be on this subject. Or this one of the three is late models, Luke Soul. One of the three is high limit, split it up. One of them, with the other one's wrestling. Now Flow Sports is in front of everybody. Now we're actually expanding to people who don't know what the hell we're looking at. Now, when they say, now, instead of us dirt track people, when you tell us what's coming up next week with high limit, well, we already fucking know. We spent money to watch the damn race. You don't think we know what race is next weekend, dummy? But if you implement something like this, where you have your service at Chili's in front of millions of people who have never seen you before, now if you're in a Chili's in Fort Worth, Texas, and High Limit shows you a deal that they're going to be there next week, hey, that's coming to town? Really? What is that thing? That dune buggy that looks like it had a baby with a tractor. Okay, it looks cool. Let's go. Now you can get more than 2,000 fans, in a population of 9 million people, or I think it's 8.6 million people in the DFW area from Texas Motor Speedway, and you ain't got to worry about it no more. These are the things that could possibly happen. Hopefully it is happening. I'm poking the bear because hopefully the bear will wake up and finally take on this big issue. It's way bigger than a bear that's out there. But now that Chili's is involved, this is the perfect opportunity now to seize on that. Is that happening? I'm just curious. Is that going to happen? It should. I was talking about this years ago. What needs to happen? You flow people instead of just draining the cow of the poor dirt track fan and killing local tracks. How about we worry about expansion and growth, and you with your conglomerate can go out and market to eateries and places to expand the sport and the growth of the sport and blah, 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 blah. Been saying this for a while. Now you got the perfect opportunity and no excuses, technically. If you don't do this, you are just being lazy and sucking the life out of it. You're the vampire. You're the vampire. Or like a spider. It's like you got the fly caught in the web and you're just like slowly sucking it for money when you need it. I mean, if it doesn't there's no excuses now. I mean, you got Chili's in the building. Strike a deal. Anyways, that's my opinion. I got to see if there's any reflection to this opinion in the chat. Of course, you do have to be a subscriber to chat in here. Oh, you did have to make some modifications to the chat for the last go round. Hold on, here we go. All right, Chaz is better sober. Well, of course we're on it. There's a guy named Dr. Shiva, I think, explains it all. Look that up. He lays out how all things are connected. This is normal. Somebody said, yeah, more debt. Oh, you're talking about actual politics and stuff now. You're talking about how it really works out there. Y'all are talking about Candace Owens meeting Erica Kirk. Oh, y'all are talking about the real game. Which, by the way, attention is money. Attention is money. So when they can make these posts and make these things, whether it's true or not, I see a post on Facebook, it's got 20,000 likes and 40 million comments. I'm like, holy shit, that one post right there, whether it's true or not, that's like $60,000, $70,000 in attention revenue. That's what it should be called, attention revenue. Wow. Oh yeah, we're not drinking. Oh yeah. I'm just saying, guys, there's no excuses anymore. There's no excuses anymore. If it doesn't happen, they're just vampires. Jeremy is right. If And I'm not saying he called Flow vampires, but if something doesn't happen, if they don't make a move with all this power they got now, Flow is a vampire. It's just true. Spire is a marketing machine. All right. Time to get into the real shit, because there's some real shit to talk about. We ain't even got into the real shit. Oh, you thought it was on before. Oh, ho, ho, ho. We thought we was running our mouth when we were on alcohol, buddy. Now we're running on nicotine. Oh, the demon nicotine. Demon. Nicotine's so bad for you. Don't smoke or vape, kids. But go across the street and, fill your ass up with some dollar menu shit from McDonald's with or go to Starbucks, get you an 800-calorie drink. That's so much more healthy. I will argue and say it's more deadly personally. But anyway, into the web. We had this fun little thing happen all day long. Insufficient funds at Atomic Speedway. It was the headline on Dirt Behind the Scenes. This guy, we're going to have an issue with Dirt Behind the Scenes here very soon. So, what do we got here? About that. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm trying to make it to where I could see my studio and the page, because I know the last show I was like messing up my sentences and I was like, hell no. But anyway, this started today. STP Motorsports, Bryce Lucius's team that he drove for last year, that Black 32. It goes, they have a post that went as follows. It is sad for me to report that after winning the sprint car race at Atomic Speedway, my ninja, on October 25th, 2025, STP, not Richard Petty Motorsports, has not been paid the advertised $15,000 winner's purse. At the time, this event was the most viewed race of the week on Flow Racing. That had to be a bad week, no disrespect. Bryce Lucius drove the number 32 STP, not Richard Petty Motorsports sprint car to victory lane. Since that race, we have received 2 separate checks from Atomic Speedway and track promoter Charlie Vest for the $15,000 winnings. Both checks were returned due to insufficient funds. But both checks were returned due to insufficient funds. We were later advised that payment would be made via wire transfer, which has not been received as of this point. So this is what was originally posted this morning, and this thing developed, buddy. This Dirt Behind the Scenes guy, he's got some dirt, that's for sure. Behind is a whole nother situation. There was a video that came out from the front straightaway of the track. It sounds like the promoter of the facility. He basically goes on to explain how he got on the phone with STP Motorsports Tyson. Not Mr. Tyson, but Tyson is his name. He says that verbatim. And how there was a wire transfer, and the wire transfer actually went through prior to the video made. And it's like, basically, I can't believe this happened. Timing, blah, blah, blah. It was all done up before he even made this video to complain about checks bouncing and the wire transfer not coming through. So this was then followed up by a post from Dirt Behind the Scenes, going back on himself here. I swear this guy's CNN. Maybe we'll see. We're gonna have this guy who runs Dirt Behind the Scenes on the show next week. He's got some dirt he's gonna tell us next week. So he'll be on the show. We're gonna get this guy on the show. You don't know his name, you will next week. But regardless, post was made. Atomic Speedway has paid STP Motorsports after that live video got to circulating. Then the follow-up post, we're going to get to what you just saw. Oh, my God, it's so... Follow-up post on the confirmation that STP has been paid. As you can see on the screen there, I can confirm the winnings or update from Atomic Winnings. I can confirm the winnings from October 25th, 2025 race at Atomic have been deposited. It goes on to say, after reading through all the responses, media content, I now feel the need to defend this race team and our integrity. Kind of because a lot of people were, I would say, he's saying this because a lot of people were like, see, team jumped the gun. Why would you say something? If you don't have the facts, you've been paid, blah, blah, blah. It didn't make them necessarily look good to make a post. And then they've already been paid either, just as bad as it is to not pay a team for winning a race. So it was kind of backlashing here. So the guy follows up. He goes, below you can see some text exchanges to the show or to show the concerns I have with collecting the winnings. Here is an outline. He has here time stamped Wednesday, he says, confirmation from Atomic. The check would be verified, read by me at 9:58. Thursday, this is last week, I'm assuming, no contact. Friday, he says he sent a text message requesting an update at 11:58 a.m. No response. Saturday, so this is 3 days of no contact after Atomic saying there would be a check. What he's saying, check would be verified. Means they deposited one or something like that, but check would be verified makes it sound like checks in the mail or something. Next day, no contact. Next day, no contact. Saturday, no contact. Sent a concerning text of displeasure, he said Saturday morning. Response received at 12:20 requesting bank wire information. Provided wire information with no response. Sunday, no contact. Monday, requesting an update at 4:57 p.m. At 6:50 or 6:21, provided the social media post. At 7:39, received a response. I will receive confirmation on Tuesday. So he's basically saying, like, even though it sounds like everything was fine, everything was going through, there was a lot of questioning on the 2 checks that it already had issues with. It sounds like based on this timeline, there was another check in question. The check would be verified, blah, blah, blah. And it sounds like that went from a check to a wire transfer instead. And then basically 2 days of no contact. And then STP did their original post. And then so happened the wire transfer had already went through prior to that post. And the funds have been received. It definitely is, in today's world where we've had our situations here recently with very prominent figures not paying, that's, or not prominent figures, I would say, but we've had some very interesting news about non-payment, we'll say, to people in the racing world or around it. And this is just following up. And there was a lot of Atomic bashing, this, that, and the other. I don't know how to take it. Obviously, the guy is paid now. The timeline sounds like to me the track could have did a way better job. And it is disconcerting that we might get to an era where people are going to start thinking if there is an issue with payment that you just go online and make it aware to everyone. So if they're, it's like, and that's because of people not just being straight up or straightforward and paying. But I mean, that's the beginning of the issue, right? Payment. Does anyone here right now? It is December 16th. Do you have a problem that a team that won a race on October 25th just got paid today or yesterday? I mean, does that not seem a little messed up? Regardless of if he's paid or not? And we're talking about almost 2 months. What if this team literally needed that? When they won that race, they were like, yes, we could pay the mortgage finally. Like, what if that was a real scenario when he's telling his driver, get in the car tonight. You better be willing to wreck this fucking car. We got to have this money tonight to survive, to make it. Just saying, if this is a scenario. Listening to the Terry McCarl interview on Jeremy Elliott's channel, it sounds like he had those nights. So, and I'm assuming there's some people out there who have those nights still. where they're going out there and they're racing to survive the month. And imagine the happiness that this team potentially could have had on October 25th when they won $15,000, and that's what's going to put them pay the mortgage on October 31st or November 4th, the first week of November. And they got to wait till mid-December to receive the funds. I'm just saying, what lost the house? Oh, I don't know. When there's situations here, I mean, he's obviously we're trying to ask professionalism out of a gung ho Wild West unprofessional sport most of the time. We only have a few good examples of true professionalism when it comes to payment and receiving and that. And they're not just a few, but a lot. But in comparison to all the races that happen, only a few. You consider the Knoxville, Central PA racing scene, the big time national series, the USMTS, the few big high profile IMCA tracks. When you consider some of these bigger, professionally ran series and states and regions and tracks, those are few in comparison to the majority that don't run professionally. If that makes sense. So it's just unfortunate for this to even be a situation. Whether he got paid yesterday or not, there should be a very big concern by anybody out there wanting to race, whether they got to get their tire test in and all this stuff. We've heard the runaround on how this stuff works when people haven't been paid for this amount of time. Tire test, waiting for this, waiting for that. I mean, I'm not saying tracks have it easy, but if there's a reason you're having to wait too much, your best friend every day should be the person that hasn't been paid. It definitely sure as hell shouldn't be no contact days. You should be giving them a step-by-step situation and 100% authenticity with whatever the hell's going on as to why they ain't received their money. If the track's in a hurting situation to where they just can't do it yet. But no contacts and all that. And once again, baseline, 2 months. That's just not right. 2 months. Once again, there are probably people and teams who race to pay the mortgage at the end of the month. Their house is gone if that was the case here. So that's how I feel about it. Any comments in the chat? Derek Hamrick. I don't know. I got I think this dirt behind the scenes. I called a number he gave me, and it was like one of those mix-up voices like you see on FBI shows and stuff. That's what I heard. So I'm hoping it'll be interesting when he gets on the show. It'll definitely be interesting, I think. Okay, on to the next subject. And this is where, hold on. We got to make sure. Let's scroll up your chat just a little bit. Oh, no. Sorry about that. I didn't have the live chat on. Sorry about that. Sorry, I had the top chats on. Oh, wait, let me make sure. Hammer down. Shout out for the $4.99 super chat. We would like to get some super chats nowadays. Anybody out there looking to join the show starting the top of the year, all these logos and things will we got some people renewing, but most of them are going to be getting replaced here soon. So be sure to reach out on our Facebook page or something like that if you want to join the show for 2026. Definitely important about that. But super chats, stuff like that's awesome. That's awesome as well. Cash the checks on time and not 30 days after. That's not what happened. He said he cashed 2 checks that were returned. Everyone in that race was paid before the winner. I guess that's the case. I don't know. Other people don't speak out when they don't win the race. Apparently, dirt racing behind the scenes. Hold on, what's this? Derek at Dirt behind the scenes is good. He's not bad. He took some flack posting about late model drivers' arrest. Laugh out loud. Interesting. Tomatoes and potatoes have nicotine in them. Yes, 100%. This is one of the reasons that French fries and ketchup are so addictive. It's potatoes and tomatoes. So 2 nicotine-based vegetables mixed with sugar in the ketchup most of the time. The seasoning at McDonald's is known to have sugar in it. You also have the oils that are highly addictive. You also have fried particles that are highly addictive. That is one of the main reasons as to why any, French fry and ketchup combo is a highly addictive substance, because nicotine is in both of the vegetables and then added sugar most of the time into the tomato or into the ketchup that is made from the tomato that has the nicotine within it. Yes. So yeah, both are nightshade. So yeah, nightshade vegetables all have nicotine within them. Yes. Nicotine is not bad. It's the scapegoat. How about that? It's the scapegoat. What about a sponsor just for Chili Bowl? I don't know. We could talk about it. We'll probably do shows from here during Chili Bowl. I don't plan on really attending the Chili Bowl. Once again, not too many great memories in the building. Obviously, if you've documented our visit tree to that event. But anyways, this is the topic I really want to talk about it. Sorry, but it's the corn syrup that makes ketchup addictive, not nicotine. Okay, so let's just add corn syrup to the mix. I mean, I'm saying ketchup and French fries is addictive because of the nicotine within potatoes and tomatoes and the highly addictiveness of sugar, which is clinically more addictive than cocaine, according to some lab rat tests. And if you want to throw corn syrup in there as another addictive chemical within the French fry and ketchup mixture, then yeah, we can add that into the bowl of the concoctory of the wizardry. Really, it's wizardry. Purses were a lot smaller back then, but when I worked at dirt tracks in the Midwest, we literally had a pay window where we paid teams in cash. Yeah. Go eat a tomato and tell me how many bites or tomatoes you will eat. That doesn't make any sense. It's a very low amount of nicotine within the tomato, but it is within the tomato. And it could potentially be why some people like tomato based products. It's hard to deny. It's an addictive chemical that is naturally produced. It's hard to deny. Anyways, into what I really wanted to discuss. That is this. Oh my, dirt behind the scenes with the slides tonight. I'm going to have to ask him for a sponsor. I mean, don't post it on Facebook. I won't show it. The IHRA takeover has begun. Of course, IHRA purchasing Maple Grove, NHRA racetrack. IHRA recently releasing their, I believe it's a $2 million purse-based stock car division, purchasing racetracks to come back. They're getting into that ownership role of facilities that are hand in hand working with these series that they're starting or running. And dirt track racing, could it be next? Well, according to Speed Sport, I see we're leaving you alone there, Dirt. IHRA does 110% plan to enter dirt racing. I still started laughing at this. But it's got quotes down here, guys. It does got quotes. As our IHRA continues to make news during the PRI trade show at the Indiana Convention Center. On Saturday morning at the Speed Sport booth, IHRA officials announced the rejuvenated sanctioning body plans to get into the dirt track racing business. This was at PRI, so this is confirmed. We have had a ton of interest here at PRI, and the guys keep coming to me, so I pulled Daryl, the IHRA owner, aside and asked if he was ready to do this. He committed, so here we go. We will get some more information out there within the next couple of weeks. No additional details such as types of cars or IHRA sanction. IHRA will sanction existing short tracks. Cuddle bought the IHRA, known for sanctioning drag racing for 1 year, or sanctioning drag racing 1 year ago, and in recent weeks has announced the IHRA Stock Car Series, purchase of the F1 Power Boat Racing Series, and an entry into drag boat racing and tractor pulling. On Friday, IHRA purchased Pennsylvania's Maple Grove Raceway. Speed Sport 1 is the exclusive broadcast partner of all IHRA events. Underline that twice, Flow. Underline that twice, Dirt Vision. Underline that twice, Jeremy Elliott, FS1, which I feel like Flow Racing is the FS1 tentacle. I just feel that way. They've already obviously worked together doing some events. So this is happening. IHRA is coming in to dirt racing. But here is why you need to just stay in your lane, IHRA. This is a lane, in my opinion, this is a lane violation, Mr. IHRA or Mrs. Or is that even binarily factual at this point? Who knows how progressive you are? You seem to be pretty progressive in all these different other areas and regions. You confuse which lane or which bathroom you're supposed to go in. It's supposed to be the straight lane, not the curved one. Okay. So this actually might be a non-binary situation, or you're attempting to be. Now, that's halfway joking and hilarious when thinking of it that way. But at the end of the day, IHRA, what you're attempting to do here by coming to dirt racing, the only way to think of a correlative example of what you're doing when you're trying to step into the dirt circle, the squared circle, would be like, I don't know, let me give an example. So I think we would all consider, like, say, Chase Elliott or Denny Hamlin, a successful NASCAR driver, but he's kind of older. Who's a NASCAR driver in the? We'll say Chase Elliott in his prime ish. This would be like Chase Elliott saying, "All right, I'm going dirt racing. That's what I want to do." Do you know what would happen if that was actually a committed process? Chase Elliott would potentially never win another race in his entire professional racing career. Now you may ask, why would I say that? All I'm saying, let me break it down. If you want to go do power boats, Chase, or IHRA stock cars, or drag boat racing, or tractor pulling, or drag racing, which would be cup racing for him, IHRA, if you want to do all these things, that's fine, because there's not too much, no offense, competition in the sanctioning, the running, the facilities of drag boat racing, tractor pulling, stock car. What do you got? Cars and ASA or something? F1 and power boat. Who's your competition in these worlds? In drag racing, your biggest one. In HRA, we all know that one. But who else? I mean, there's no competition in all these other departments that you're trying to get into, Chase. At least there is competition. Let me say it like this, Chase. I get it. There's competition in the Cup Series, in the drag racing world. You got it, HRA. Pretty good guy. But there's nothing out there like the competition in dirt track racing, Chase. IHRA. There's nothing out there like it. The list of competitors when you jump into the dirt track market is a roster of killers. with established credibility to whoop ass in their sector of the sport. Want to do sprint cars? High Limit, World of Outlaws. Want to do late models? World of Outlaws, Flow, Lucas Oil, whatever that is now. Big Block, Super Dirt, Short Track Super Series. Maybe stock cars there too. IMCA is so deep in the stock cars with their loyalties and their programs, you ain't even going to get close. And not even USRA, throw them in there. Modifieds, UMP, USMTS, IMCA, USRA. Dirt car, which is UMP. Wasoda. Once again, the competition, there's no room in this lane for you to succeed. There's just too many killers over here versus your normal competition that you're used to. It's just not a good idea, bro, girl. This non-binary aspect of what you're thinking of doing here is you're crazy. You need to see a doctor, IHRA. You don't want to get into the squared circle of the dirt track racing world. I was at PRI with a guy, and just like, and Chase, y'all, stay in NASCAR, stay in your lane too. You don't want to come over here and get eaten up by the sharks of the dirt world. I don't think Chase Elliott could win a highly competitive. He can't win an IMCA stock car event, a big one. There's no way. That's the most competitive stock cars in the world for one. Possibly the most competitive division in all the world outside the dirt late models. But I'm simply saying, IHR, there was a person that came up to me who's established, has a track, has their own streaming service, has series in their gauntlet, and they said, Chaz, just tell me what I need to, how much do I need to take down Flow and Dirt Vision and just kick everyone's ass? How much? And I said, about $1 billion with a very straight face. They were kind of drunk. I wasn't. About $1 billion. Now, that sounds crazy, but, and he started laughing. What are you talking about? I was like, maybe it's not $1 billion, but it's going to have to be a lot, buddy. We just watched somebody go away for some issues that had Bristol on his side, had the dirt track at Charlotte on his, had Texas Motor Speedway, had the biggest names in super late model racing on his side, paying, listening to the drivers, doing own streaming service, doing everything you think you could do right. That competition I'm talking about ate them up. Ate them up. In one way or obviously the other. That was a lot to have on your side. North Wilkesboro coming back on your side. The conglomerate. On your side, in our industry, still ate your ass alive. I don't like that aspect in some ways. But this is why I'm saying to IHRA, you don't know what the fuck you're getting yourself into, buddy. And maybe you just want to have a fun little weekend dirt show and maybe a little event here. And if that's all you want to do, just like these other people, if y'all just want to have your little circle and your little good events and stuff, then okay, just go over there and have a little, I don't know, a freaking little modified race, 1,000 to win, little fun, little fairground event, maybe some ride along with the cars show, just a fun family affair. But if you want to get into if you want to go up against the best, Chase Elliott, you could probably go win a little local, hobby stock race somewhere out in the middle of nowhere with 8 cars. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, go ahead and win that race, Chase, out there with 8 cars. You want to jump into the ring and start swinging with the killers we got. The list of heavyweight champions from top to bottom. You ain't got no chance. Stay in your lane, IHRA, on this one. All the other stuff, go do your stock car thing. That's on your side. All these other ideas is on your side. You got a chance to survive over there. You don't over here. You can't beat them. You won't beat them. You won't. Too much competition. Way too much. So, once again, want to have your little fun show, little fairground meet down there at Memphis, which apparently, according to some very high-ranking people, that's where you are first going to have your first dirt races down there at Memphis. Want to go have a little 1,000 to win modified show and get 6 cars or whatever and say you did a dirt race. All right, that better be the goal. Because if the goal is to go out and play with our killers, they're gonna fuck you up. It's just too deep over here in the dirt world. Same for you, Chase. No disrespect. Stay in your lane, you can be a superstar. Stay in your lane, IHRA, with these other things. Be a superstar, be the hero. You come over here, too much. Dirt track racing is just too much on the track and off the track. You're going down, period. That's what I think. Reactions in the chat? Chaz said he wasn't drunk, but they were. I don't know what that means. They have the tax subsidies from all the sheep. Let's see here. Landon Crawley Racing has welcomed Landon Crawley Racing to Pitch in the Hit. Well, thank you, Landon. Thank you. The newly dubbed factory team there with the 12X, Landon Crawley. I'm looking forward to it. Shared a nice conversation. He says, I can't believe I just paid. This is beautiful. Can't believe I just paid $3.25 to comment on your live chat. You didn't have to. All you had to do was subscribe. You didn't have to join the membership, Landon. Oh, my God. Did you really join the membership because you thought you had to? You just had to subscribe to the channel. Like, click the channel, subscribe, not membership. God, if that's really what you just did there, no, making some similar mistakes on the track, Landon, just saying. Just saying, but thank you for being a part. I'm sure you'll cancel your membership now. You're $3.25. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you didn't have to do that. Thank you, Jacob. I need it. Oh, look, you got fans in here. Look at this. What's up, dude? Supporting the cause. Well, thank you for supporting the damn, he got me. I should have I didn't know you wanted to comment, but all you had to do is be a subscriber. But now you're a member. I figured that out. Just like you figured how to enter the corner without hitting the wall. First, sometimes you just got to hit it and flip. You just hit it and flip and hit the membership button instead of subscribe. So mistake out of the way. I felt bad, figured I'd throw you a bone. Hey, I think I was making a really good point with the IHRA. There's no hope for him. There's just no hope for him. Thank you, new channel member, Landon Crawley Racing has joined it. I do think you're going to have really good success with the 12X Beaver team. Really good people. It'll be very interesting to see how Power Eye shapes out. I'm look forward to seeing how that full tour is going to be this year. They said that there was going to be a new outlaw rookie from Oklahoma. Who could that be? Somebody said Reese Moran, but I don't think the 45X said that. I'm thinking it's going to be Hank Davis, maybe. I don't know. But who was in the 12X, won the short track nationals. I blocked the Chaz's number. Just kidding. Well, oh my God. I wonder if this is an alias, Landon Crawley Racing. It may not be Landon Crawley, guys. I mean, anyone can name themselves just like Sugar Bear. This is true. This is true. It could or could not be Landon. I mean, who knows who it could be? Could be an undercover agent. He had like 6 agents with him at CSI. He's a factory team guy now. I almost spit out my coffee. I know who, just can't tell you. Oh, my. Sugar Bear is Spike, for the record. Anyway, I wanted to get into the sprint car tire deal. IHRA, you're done. There's no hope for you. Get out while you can. And Speed Sport 1, just stop trying. Didn't Speed Sport sell to Flow? Why are they back? They put a number in front of their Speed Sport, and now they're back? Or was it Speed Shift? My bad. I'm sorry, Ralph Shaheen. I really like Ralph Shaheen, though. I really do. Tires. Let's talk about it. First of all, we got to talk about this. Funny enough, Landon Crawley, who knew he would be joining the Chaz as a paid member of the channel. Another person that I learned was a big fan of the Chaz, outside of Landon and Tim Crawley. While we were at PRI, very surprising to me. I didn't see it coming, but he saw me, and I saw him, and I kind of knew what he looked like, but I kind of didn't. I've only seen him like once or twice on TV. And then he started smiling and ran up to me kind of with a big just grin on his face and shook my hand. I thought he was going to want to take a picture, but it was Justin Allgaier, guys. Justin Allgaier. I can't believe I'm saying this. Yes, the person who drives for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Xfinity series, Justin Allgaier, is a big fan of mine. I was like, what is going on? Hoosier Tire Midwest. Their family's a part of. And then we were talking about tires, of course. And I was like, well, hey, just sponsor the show. I'll put a Hoosier hat on. We'll start telling all these racers if they don't want to pay your prices, well, just if you don't want to race, get in the grandstands. It's cheaper. You know, we can make plenty of jokes if I was sponsored by Hoosier on the show, first of all. Absolutely hilarious. Obviously, there's been some tire talks, but I just want to give a big shout out. Thank you for being a fan of the show, Justin. And he said there's a lot of other people who do. I was like, what are you talking about? There's a lot of the people who like the show. And he goes, oh, some big people really like your show. And I go, what do you mean big people? He's like, big people watch and like your show. He's like, some of them don't. There's some big people who really like your show, Chaz. So I'm like, oh God, he's talking about Illuminati. Tom Cruise is watching my show. But anyway, we were talking about the sprint car tire deal because I heard a rumor because I got undercover ops across the country. Undercover ops. And by the way, side note, I have some undercover ops up at Huset's. I believe New Dirt is down on Huset's. We're going to have a querying member on the show, I believe, here very soon. And Justin Allgaier may be on the show here very soon to confirm my undercover ops photos from Huset's. That's a whole nother subject. This, though, has to do with the promoters meeting on the West Coast that happened about 3 weeks ago, I believe it was. There was a rumor I had heard coming out of there that there was some scuffling with Brad Sweet and some West Coast track promoter people. Not going to say who and who. I heard there was some scuffling or some disagreements. We'll just say disagreements for subtlety purposes. Some disagreements with some people about the West Coast sprint car scene, which may be why NARC hasn't released their schedule yet. Their schedule. But there was also other things that occurred with the sprint car tire situation and how much they're costing. There's some inconsistencies with the sprint car tire, which apparently is normal. And what I mean by that is like you could buy 2 tires, same measurements, put them on the same rim size, air them up to the same tire pressure, and test them as far as bounce and rebound and everything. And the 2 tires will be legitimately different as far as how they react. Supposed to be the same, 100%. They're not, which is, once again, halfway normal. There were some concerns there about the consistency, and there was some disagreement. Obviously, Hoosier's the big bad guy right now. Hoosier's the devil. Anytime everything or something goes wrong, guys, blame that guy. Something's wrong today. Immigration. I'm just saying, like, something's wrong. Cats are the problem. Who knows? Whatever it could be. Dogs with black faces but tan tails. It could be anything. But right now, it's easy to blame Hoosier. It is. I'm not wearing a purple hat yet, but it is the easy scapegoat. Is their tire prices up too much? Did it not properly inflate over the years? And now we're just now noticing the inflational price of a tire. But then there was some other information that my undercover ops, and then let's just say wink, wink, some people who might like the show told me at PRI. that there is not just the one big player in the room, American Racer, that everyone knows about, is going to do a sprint car tire. Oh, well, American Racer, they do the modifieds and the late models and blah, 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 blah. They're going to come and take over the sprint car world. That's the one guy who we can see makes a bunch of sprint car or a bunch of tires in the dirt track racing world. They can come in, they can race, win, and repeat them damn sprint car tires. They can do it. Look, they got them on. Merce said, we're winning. We're winning. We can do it. Not only is this player trying to come into the game, but another player that no one saw coming. And before I show you who this is, I want to say right now that this is not factual information. This is not confirmed. This is 100% rumor-based and speculative. 100%. And if it's wrong, then it's wrong. And who knows, you know? I mean, Fairy Tale Land, Candace and Erica. Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying. This is the other player that I am peering through the willows, the tweeter birds of the world, the Blue Jays, the Cardinals. This is what I'm hearing as a potential third option. Not the first option of Hoosier, second option of American Racer. A third option outside the Chinese tires and all the other stuff, the INDs. A third option to actually get serious about producing sprint car tires in the United States and are serious and are in the ears of the people who can pull the triggers to make it happen. I can't believe I'm clicking this. Oh, I didn't. It took me off. It took me off, guys. It took me off. It won't let me do it. It's broke. It won't work. Guys, it just shut the page down. Illuminati is working. Oh my God. I just clicked it and the what? Guys. The Illuminati deal is real. It just like shut it down. Oh my God. Okay, I think we got it back. All right, this is it right here. Here we go. We got it back. I think we got it back. Maybe this is a sign that everything's going to end after I do this. That's what I'm hearing, guys. I can't believe there it is. There it is. I just put it on the screen. And yes, you are reading that correctly. High performance, hand built, American made. Wedge high performance carts. We've been hearing about these wedge carts. You know, you've been seeing them on the commercials with your groups out there. Apparently, the people who are involved with this little wedge thing out of Billings, Montana, at least that's their P.O. box, which makes sense as to why this would be whispered about in the meeting over there in Reno. I actually have been to that in Pearl Harbor. Apparently, these guys are interested in and can, and who thinks they can't, producing enough sprint car tires to compete. Hoosier and American Racer, which is just crazy, is it not? I mean, that's just crazy. Think that a little go-kart place with 600 followers on Facebook, wow, they spent all that money on those ads and only got 600 followers? Guys, come on. Y'all got to start spending your advertisement dollars better. I mean, just come to the chest. 600. Oh, my God. I couldn't live with myself if they spent that amount of money with me, and this is the result. Anyway, so this is what I'm hearing. These are the players. I know it sounds insane. Hoosier, American Racer, and somehow, some way, Little Billings, Montana people involved with wedge high performance carts. Now, not saying that would be the name of the tires, wedge or whatever. Apparently, it's the people involved with this brand and cart thing think they can do it. They think they can go toe to toe with these guys, with Dale Jr.'s buddy driving his cars, and the Purple Mafia. They think they can. Now, here's the problem. Here's the damn problem. It's just, I think it's way more intricate and way more difficult than you think. Like, I was talking to people seriously about American Racer. And honestly, if American Racer is going to get involved, and this is the other element, I've heard that they can only do so much. So if they were going to get serious about sprint car racing tires, then they would have to drop another segment or area of tires that they make to really keep up with the demand. That's what I was told. So I know they make like big block modified tires right now, currently, or modified tires, or they make the stock car tires or whatever. Where they're at right now would be a maxed out scenario to be able to do the tires that they needed to equate to the entire sprint car world. So they would have to, say, drop making big block modified tires or drop making stock car tires in order to produce the amount of tires they would be needing to take this new overtaking of sprint car tire production. That's what I'm hearing. That's what people are saying. I'm not saying it's true. That's what I'm being told by some very reputable people. That's what they would have to do. And now the other side, the reason this wedge thing has a chance is because this guy right here, the Purple Mafia guy. Really, actually, here's who it really has to do. And it's always top down. Sprint cars make the decision. This guy is the problem. This guy is who, and hold on, let's do this. Hold on. Let's get this guy up. Let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's be honest. How about that? This guy, this high limit racing guy, is out to do anything you can do, I can do better. Like if this was Brad Sweet is over here every single day yelling at Brian Carter, anything you could do, I could do better. I could do anything better. The whole, yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Yes, I can. This is what's happening. Okay, so this is why the wedge go-kart guys or American Racer has a chance, because this entity is all about doing different than the World of Outlaws. World of Outlaws, lockdown schedule. You can't go race with anybody. We're running every single fucking week, man. No, we're not doing no franchises. No long-term value. High limit, freedom schedule. You can run wherever you want. We're doing franchise systems, and we're redheaded. Fuck you. That's what it is here. It's like we're gonna do whatever this guy isn't doing. Oh, you wanna start putting some air into the bleeders? No. Yes. You wanna start adjustable shocks? No. Yes. You wanna start racing American racers or anything else besides the Purple Mafia and Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s tires? No. Yes. At the end of the day, that is what's happening. And the sprint car market is very intricate in a weird way on busting the molds. I think if that was to happen here in the sprint car market, it will start to trickle in the other industries. For some reason, that click cartel mafia perspective of what runs the sprint car industry with the corporate side and the flip-flops and the vans and the flat bills and all the corporate money and the big guys with the collared shirts and all this shit. You know, you can go to a late model race, the richest guys, out there in some Red Wings. That's what he's walking around in. He's some billionaire trucker family guy. The sprint car world, nope. Tidy whities, top of the building, top of the board, go to World of Outlaws and the little headquarters. Everybody's looking slick with the white collared shirts. So, for some reason, the blue collars of the late model world and every other dirt racing industry does kind of follow the lead of what the white collar, high classy people do in the sprint car industry. And even though there is, other tire manufacturers for late models, the gateway race, obviously American racers, nationally, it's still a Hoosier game for the late model industry. But if it breaks over here in the sprint car world to American Racer or some go-kart tires or what the hell ever, once again, it probably will, because this guy says nope, and this guy's going to say yes. This guy's going to say nope, and that guy's going to say yes. So when this guy goes to say yes here, potentially very soon, on this tire situation, that is going to cold trickle effect into the entire industry, the dirt track racing world. I think it won't be long until Lucas Oil, all of a sudden, you can run more than one. I really think it's about opening up the tire game. I don't know if it's about technically sanctioning with one manufacturer either. We do need to help the entertainment value. The cars are getting too close, both on the late model and sprint car side. The compound is a joke. Compound differences in the late model industry is not bad, but it's still a joke. We need to get back to the 10 or 15 different options to race across all four corners of the car. Or I'm being exaggerant there, probably 6 to 8 through combos and brands that you would run in a main event to mix up the on-track product. So I don't know if this is necessarily going to be High Limit's going to run American racers and they're going to be an American racer sanctioned series. I don't know if that's just because this guy says, no, nothing but the Purple Mafia. And they're like, well, let's try the cartel tires. I don't think that it's going to be cartel versus mafia in having to choose between American Racer or the go-kart tires or the World of Outlaw Hoosier Mafia tires. I think it's going to be High Limit is going to say you can run the other tires. We're not going to be sanctioned or get money under the table, and you have to run Hoosier tires, as most people assume is what happens. People just get paid off like the Outlaws or whoever to be the dedicated tire runner of the series, which makes sense. That's business 101, right? I mean, look at the tire wars of NASCAR. So I think that it is highly possible. Once again, this guy says nope. This guy says yes. And more than one tire compound is going to be allowed to be ran in the High Limit Racing Series very soon. But side angle, once again, these rumors came out of that West Coast region, and I heard not everybody was on the Brad Sweet bandwagon. So I could be wrong on this. It could be these guys saying yes, these guys saying no. I don't know. But I think that the barrier is about to break on this tire situation. And I was just very intrigued to hear that there's a third player in the game. Very intrigued. But once again, more than likely going to be High Limit to do it, no matter what the relationships are, because these people are old and whatever we've always done works. We're going to sustain. And these people are like, we got to make shit happen. We got to do it. We got to try new. We got to progressive. This is your progressive party and this is your conservative party. I know in politics, usually the red Republicans and the blue Democrats, but in this situation, it's the blue conservatives and the red liberals. Or progressive. Progressives is the better word. High Limit's the progressive party. World of Outlaws is the conservative party. That's what we have here. Aggression, old and busted on this planet. Conservative. And that's all those in a ball of wax. Anyways, let's look at the chat. I know y'all have. Is Landon Crawley still in here mad? I don't think they will say that. They will stick to taking the check and making sure the tires suit the driver's style. I don't think so. I don't think that's true. I just don't think so. I'm not the real Landon Crawley. I don't think anyone could be the real Landon Crawley. Let's see here. That is the end of the show. All my topics. Do we need to open up the phone lines? We gotta hold on. I actually still have the thing over here all now. I don't even have the lines open. My apologies for that. Let me put the normal live chat and show reaction. What do you think? Sorry. Um, let's see. Any plans for California in 2026? You never know. I each year I plan on getting off the road, trying to get more partners here on the show. We're working with MPV currently, trying to add them to the show. We already added their driver, so we'll see what happens. If we can get more people to support the shows here weekly, we got through talking with a lot of people here regionally as well. But I still like to. I do enjoy the Florida trip. I do enjoy an Eldora trip. I do enjoy a PA trip. I do enjoy a West Coast trip. Even if I'm not to be on the road as much as I have been in the past, it will be very hard to not take up those trips because those are very good trips to do. They're just enjoyable. Landon, Crawley, we gotta go to our membership comments here. Marv up here said Wedge is tight with Rudine, so that could be the money. That's the money. Interesting. I don't feel like Wedge has the capability to supply the amount of tires needed. Could be wrong. A National 410 team is roughly 450 tires a year. Well, and that's why American Racer would have to shut down a division, is what I'm being told, of tires they currently produce to be able to keep up with that demand. I do think if the Rudine deal is true, now I would like to get Justin Algar on here because he was explaining to me that there is a actual plant that makes the tires. I'd like for him to confirm this live on the show as a person. Justin, are you watching? You text back, bastard. But he was telling me that Hoosier's actually the only one who has a actual plant that does the tires, and everyone else kind of not like subleases or goes to a plant to get them made. So I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I think that's what he was telling me. Don't quote him. I guess I'm trying to, but he ain't on the show. So Chaz, how many Power I races am I gonna have to see you at? I don't know if I'll go to them. Somebody said Goodyear don't want anything to do with dirt. They sure as hell don't. Not at all. Not at all. They don't want anything to do with them. Landon Crawley said 450 is on the higher end for a team like TSR RAR. On average, 3 tires a night. Okay. Continental, yes. Continental owns Hoosier. If you did not see that coming, it is a German-owned company. Tell my mom, hi, Chaz. I don't believe this is Landon Crawley anymore. This is comical. All right, should we open up the phone lines or no? Yes or no? We need thumbs up or thumbs down. Did we get another a super chat? Did we get another one? No. Nope. Landon Crawley joined in pitching the hit. But thank you, Hammer Down, for the beginning of the show. Put the number. Should we have the call-ins or no? We'll have to put the headphones on. That's why I'm asking. Just in an hour in the show, this is where everybody else tunes out. They're going to bed or whatever. They're driving down the highway. Don't let the Ginger Kitty family keep you from the Chili Bowl. I'm telling you, man, their presence is real. Building. They own it. They own the Chili Bowl. The people who run the Chili Bowl think they own it, but the stars do. That is Kyle's building, buddy. Wherever he wants goes. Sitting here with my keypad ready, bud. Oh, no. Oh, no. I should have had a Landon Crawley graphic. Or Crawley graphic. I didn't know I needed one of these. Hold on. Here we go. Oh, no. This could get very awkward very quick. If it's Landon, I'll probably have to hang up because he's a minor. We have to have him sign a release. That's how that works, I believe, right? I don't know. Or is calling the number consent? Might as well be. I think it is consent. Okay. The line is open. Oh, God. It's on the screen. Oh, it's open. It truly is open, guys. We'll give it 1 minute. Oh no, who is this? Spam? Is this spam? Hello.
You still believe it's me, buddy?
Oh, hold on.
Well,
We
you gotta-
gotta alter some things here. What about now? Go ahead. Say that again.
You there?
Yeah. Who's there? Is this Landon Crawley?
Here, you know who it is. You got to say hi to my mom real quick.
Why is this happening? Hello, Laura. How have you been enjoying the show, Laura?
Absolutely, yeah.
She's
This
sitting
is-
in here watching it herself.
Is this the first time she's watched the show?
Probably not the first, but I'm sure the other reasons aren't for the reasons you want.
Okay, exactly. That's what I'm saying here. So what's up? What are you calling in? Are you calling to request a refund or joining the channel on
Well,
accident?
we can handle that later. I was just proving to you that it's actually me. There seems to be some doubt there, and I'm not really sure why.
I didn't see Landon Crawley. That was not on my bingo card. That's like Phillip Rivers coming out of retirement. I didn't see Landon Crawley joining the Chaz channel as a member today. It just didn't happen. I just didn't see it coming.
Trust me, I didn't plan on doing it.
God's plans are weird. So what's up? What do you want to talk
Hey,
about?
you
What
know-
what any comments on the show? Seems like you have a few.
I mean, I can't tell you all of my comments. I know that somebody just said highest female viewership. I find that really funny. And
It's true. No, it is. I have the highest female. I don't know why he's referencing you for that reason. Or well, Laura, I guess. Okay, there you go.
oh wow, okay. Interesting comment.
I guess that's
I
why
guess
he's
I don't
saying
have
that.
anything- I mean, I have a few opinions on some of the tire stuff and all that, but I don't know if that's really my place to speak on it.
What do you mean your place? It's just what you think. What's wrong with you thinking as a driver?
And I'm not the guy that's creating the tires or has anything to do with it. I just know that it would be really hard for Hoosier to get pushed out of the sport. Not necessarily pushed out, but it'd be really tough for anybody else to come in.
Well, yeah, I think American Racer would have to drop. From what I was hearing, American Racer would have to drop a production line of one of their tires to even
Well,
keep up, even try to keep up.
I mean, I will say I heard some rumors not too long ago about American Racer coming back. I mean, I don't know how true it is. I know I heard it from a good source. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the old McCreary's is now
Yeah.
American Racer.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's definitely a chance, but you got to think about it from all the different sides. I mean, 40 or 50 national teams running 300 tires a year. That's pretty much 20,000 tires they have to come
Right.
up with, and
Right.
they have to do this quickly. Not, you know exactly what I'm saying. And like this guy just said, I mean, I don't think there's many people that can do what Hoosier's doing. They're in
Hoosier
every
is the only
aspect of-
one, I believe, with an actual plant of their own making the tires.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's going to be really hard for anybody to push that out. Like, I don't think there's really any way. And the other deal too is Hoosier's got so much money and tied up into the sport between. I mean, there's a lot more that Hoosier's doing than what you'd see on the outside. There's more that goes on. So it's going to be tough to get rid of that. I don't think there's any way. It's going to be a few years before you see anything like that come up, I think.
Well, and that's why I think it could be sooner than a few years, but based on the conversations I heard. That I mean, a lot of people were pissed off at that West Coast meeting, apparently. But I don't think it'll be a situation where Hoosier is pushed out. I don't think it'll be a deal where High Limit comes out and says, all right, you have to run American Racers now. It'll be more so like, all right, you can run American Racers now. Like an addition. I think it'll be multiple.
You got to look at it this way too. Hoosier has dominated every form of dirt racing for so long. How is that going to make them feel when another brand comes in?
Well,
You know
they
what I mean?
got them in every other division. I mean, the late models at Gateway, it was two tire compounds. They got them in the modifieds. They got them in the big blocks. I mean, really, sprint cars is the only thing on the national scene because you still have American racers like in Ohio. There's section, I believe, even down there. Like with that Sprint Car Bandits, when they originally had it, you could run whatever you wanted. You just had a durometer.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
we
I
can, we
mean,
can go
there's
run.
areas where you can run them right now. It's just nationally, you can't, on anything, except, no, the big blocks are the only one, but that's split up between the short track Super Series and the Super Dirt Car Series nationally, which that's still regionally in a way. But the National 8 Mile Tour, the National Sprint Car Tours, they're all Hoosier.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every dominant series is all Hoosier, and that all falls back on, in my opinion, how much money Hoosiers pumped into the sport. And I mean, these guys have sponsored, they funded banquets, they funded points funds, they funded so much for so long. I mean, it's gonna be tough to really do anything about Hoosier. And I hate to be the one to say it, and it really sucks, but I think we're gonna be stuck in this same loop of prices going up, and I hate to say tires getting worse, but tires getting worse. I mean, because it's at the end of the day, we all think it. I mean, the quality of our tires have gone so downhill in the last. I mean, even since when I started racing sprint cars, which was 6 or 7 years ago now. I mean, our tires are not. They're not good. So I don't think we're gonna get out of that spiral for a while. So,
and I think some of the bigger money teams are noticing that. Like apparently somebody said that Rudine's tied in with that Wedge company. And from what I was told is Wedge would have to go through the same company that American Racer goes through right now to get the tires done. It's just about paying the bill to get the tires done. So that's why these guys are trying to get in with these series to break that barrier. I think it's possible in high limit to do that because they got the flow money. They got enough money in that pool with the flow conglomerate and everybody where they could pretty much do whatever they want. They do whatever they want over there because they got the money to supplement funding for banquets and funding for that and this. So if Rudine obviously is I see Rudine and Queering as very similar entities, although they're not. Like I see Rudine as a very big player in the high limit side, just like Queering is a big player on the outlaw side. And they got a car and they got tracks, So if Rudine's potentially trying to snuggle up with high limit to break that barrier, then I could see why he would potentially write a check with the Wedge brand to produce enough tires to compete and then put it on the 26 car in a few of their groups or whatever clique they got going, if that makes sense.
Well, and the other deal too, I mean, it's gonna be a multi-year process. You can't just say here's a tire and go race it. I mean, this stuff, the NASCAR deal. I mean, I know a guy that he works for Dunlop Falcon. I mean, he's a tire tester. It's what he does. He drives street cars and tests tires. You have to go through that same process in the sprint car deal. I mean, when Goodyear was coming around, kind of the 2007, 8, 9, 10 era. I mean, tire testing was like very common. I mean, your top guys did that a lot, and you're going to have to go through all that same process. You're going to have to get one sanction on board, and then you're going to have to make both series agree. And I mean, I don't feel like high limit and outlaws are against each other by any means, but I definitely think they're going to have a hard time coming to terms on that. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we all race together. We're all at the same race. I race with high limit guys all year. I race with outlaw guys.
Aren't they already different in the rules though? You can run the adjustable shocks. You can have the filler up bleeders. They already have differences in the rule packages.
I mean, yes and no, but it's differences that are very small. I mean, yeah, you can run a shock adjuster in high limit, and you can't with outlaws. You can run an air pump. High limit,
isn't putting a different tire on somewhat similar?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends how you look at it, but that's wholesale change.
But when
you're going from something that we ran forever.
So then look at it like this. You was talking about they need to be able to produce enough tires for everybody to run them. The problem and the thing that's happening now, and I don't know if you've noticed this with the high limit groups, is there's this. I call it click base, but it's more so it should be called exclusivity. Is becoming premium, and parts is selling in that exclusivity. Whether that's in the sprint car world, we see that with the motors department, like your Morrison, your Charlie Garrett's, but I think it's also starting to spread out. Like what's that header that like the little click of high limit runs, Rico runs it, champion headers or something like that?
Specialty headers.
Specialty headers.
I see.
But
I
what
know
I'm
what you're
saying is like,
saying.
here's the deal. Say high limit opens up the tire deal. Say Rudine and them, whoever it is, they can only make or they only want to make like 2,000 tires, and they only want 4 or 5 teams to have them, and they're legal to run. And even if you want them, well, you have to be a wedge driver or something to have them. They're legal to run.
Well,
but,
I'll just say,
I mean,
you can't do that. You can't do that.
They'll just say they can't supply
that's
enough
not
to keep
gonna work.
up. You got to run the Hoosiers. Sorry, they ain't going to come out and say it. I'm just saying you could play the game.
No, that wouldn't work, because I mean, when you start getting beat by guys that are on American racers and you can't get them, that's when that becomes a problem. That'll never happen. And I understand what you're talking about with the motor deal too. I mean, you think exclusivity, but that's really not what it is. It's
So is
I
it
mean, a
not
little
fair
bit,
that
yes,
you
but
can't get a Morrison if you want one?
not.
It's
I don't
not
think it
fair,
is by
right?
any
But
means.
it happens. I'm just
I've
saying.
ran
It's not fair,
every
but it
type of motor
happens.
there is, basically. And yeah, you can say it's not fair, but that's not those guys. That's not the way that their business is set up. These guys help their people. It's the same deal with Charlie Garrett. He has his people, and he only deals with his people. He has a certain number of motors he wants to build
I'm
every
just
year.
talking about
He's
the
got a
same
certain-
thing, but in the tire world.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but there's no way you could do that on tires. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, our motors, a top team, you could be running Ryder, you could be running a Garrett, you could be running a Fisher, whatever. They're all going to be close. All of our motors are, I'm not going to say they're identical because they're not, but any guy, any of your top guys anyways, can go build a motor that's solid and can compete. I mean, I ran Ryders all year this year. I ran Kisslers all year last year, and they run just as good, I feel like, as some of the Garretts, some of the Morrisons. I'm not going to say that those guys aren't a little bit better, but, I mean, we're all close on that. But as far as tires, you can't have 6 guys on one set of tires, 6 of your good guys, and then nobody else can get them.
But
Because, I mean, tires,
that's kind of happening already. The motors departments, it's happening. You could see it maybe getting that way with the headers, depending on if they like you or not. It could get that way with shocks. That's how it works in the big boy stuff. You know, you have your factory drivers, and those are the people who get them, and no one else does. That's I'm just saying, in other industries like Supercross and every Rallycross, I mean, that's how it works, though. That's the progression, is exclusivity to certain teams. It's not fair, right? But
I don't think we'll ever get to that point where you have certain guys that only do certain things. And even if it does, a sprint car is such a simple race car. There's always going to be ways to build something that's going to make a race car fast. And at the end of the day, your 4 shocks, yeah, they matter. And you could have one guy. I mean, TSR, when they were testing the Fox stuff, like, yeah, it matters. It's different. But the exclusivity of it doesn't really, I don't think it doesn't really matter. I mean, I can tell you right now, I ran everything from Momentums to FK, CSIs, Penske's. I ran the whole 9 yards. And I mean, that stuff just comes down to preference. Yeah, same deal with the motor. All that comes down to motors, or to just preference. Tires are, I mean, that's
preference too on size, right? But that's still, you have preference within the manufacturer itself.
Yeah, but we can all get whatever tire we want, and I think that's going to be the same. That's going to be the same deal forever. I think. I don't think there'll ever be a point where tires get to exclusivity. I don't think that'll ever happen.
It could. I mean, even when NASCAR had their wars, I mean, you had certain drivers signed to Hoosier and certain drivers signed to Goodyear, and that's what they were in. And you couldn't, if you was signed, you couldn't run the other. You know, that was a tire deal back in the day. Same thing with Goodyear and Sammy and the McCrarys with other drivers and the Hoosiers with other drivers. That was a tire deal. That's what has already kind of happened.
There was a time in sprint racing where you had 3 of your top guys on 3 different tire brands.
Right, and they had a deal to where they couldn't run anything but that.
Right, but there will never be a point for a tire company where they're gonna limit what they sell to who they sell. That'll never happen. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you got to think these guys got to produce so many tires, it'd be stupid to only cut that to a certain amount.
But
mean, I
if
don't
you
know
know
what
you only need a
for
certain
new tires.
amount to fill the agreements you have, that makes it a lot easier to say we can do it.
I mean, yes and no, but tires is the one deal that I just don't feel like that could ever happen. It's too. I mean, I'm not going to say it can't happen, but I don't feel like it will happen just because one, there's going to be so much complaining that it's going to get pushed out. Like, I mean, once
They're
if
already
you've got
complaining
6
about
guys
it just being Hoosier, though. I mean, so then no one wins.
well, they're complaining for different reasons, not necessarily just because it's Hoosier.
And somebody just said in the comments, what about Schnee Lawson chassis? Aren't those only being offered for certain drivers? Like, so the chassis.
No, not at all. You can go buy a Schnee. You can buy a Schnee right now. I mean, anybody can do that. The only real sprint car parts that we can't, like, you can't just go walk up with money and buy is motors. That's the only thing we can't really do.
Right. And some people don't like the fact that I guess Rico's involved with the motor builder. I don't know how you feel about a racer being involved, but
well, I mean, I don't think that really matters, to be honest. I mean, you were talking about the specialty deal, Ricky's header deal. I mean, yeah, it seems exclusive, but I really don't think it is because I can go buy a set of specialty headers right now.
Well, I would say that was more for promo purposes. You know, you get a few guys on these certain headers, and now everybody wants one. You know,
well, and
that's how it works. And then I'm gonna assume that if Speedway gets to going well, it's gonna be paired with the specialty header, and that's gonna be like a package. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, it will be. But I mean, there is benefits to running specialty headers. I mean, on a dyno, I can't tell you exactly what they are because I've never been to a dyno with them, but I mean, I've heard they're every bit of 30 horsepower on the top end. So, I mean, there is benefits to running them, but I mean, I don't think Speedway has always been a deal where you got to be in there to get anything out of them. I mean, that's always kind of been their deal. And it's the same deal as a lot of these other guys too. I mean, they just have a certain number they want to hit every year, and they have their people that they've dealt with for a long time, and that's just how it is. But that's really only on the motor deal. Yeah, headers could end up that same way too, but headers aren't making a big enough difference right now for that to really matter. And even if it did, Show and Field's going to come in and they're going to do the same thing, and you'll have 2 options available. So you got to look at it that way too.
Well, that's all I'm saying. What happened with the tires? That you just basically predicted the future of what I'm saying could be the reality of the header or the tire situation right now. You know, American Racer or somebody coming in and offering an alternative because of the lockdown in the market. But it's not the same. Regardless, opinions on the since we got you here, opinions on the Butler built seat not being approved.
I'm pretty up in the air on it. I mean, I like where it's going. Are you talking about the XC gear deal?
Well, it seemed like your dad in particular thought the Monkey Bar XC Monkey Bars was a good idea. And Butler utilized that Monkey Bar system to do the beltless seat. That's the one that was not approved or not allowed that they had on display.
Yeah.
All the agree, disagree. What do you think?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with them because at the end of the day, that's another deal that hasn't been tested. I mean, you were at Dave and Darren's safety meeting, so you heard exactly what I heard, and I mean, I agree with him that it just needs to be tested more, but that's absolutely working in the right direction, and it sometime within the next 3 years that I feel like that needs to be the thing. I mean, there's plenty of reasons why. I mean, if you think about it, you got a Cup car, Indy car, their seatbelts are on their seat, and you know, when you're running a safety deal like Chasm or XC gear, when you compress and your seatbelts are mounted straight to the frame, every time you compress, your seatbelts are going to loosen. When you go down, the seatbelts loosen up, and it's not much, but it's enough to make a difference, you know. So, and the other deal, and we'll use Chase.
But wouldn't that be a reason the all belts system with those monkey bars makes sense because you're not worried about your belts coming loose with that,
Yeah, exactly.
mount because the belts are attached to the seat. So there is no belt slack with that idea. They're just more so.
No,
It sounds like
exactly.
they're more so worried about there's not enough testing on these mounts and the hits. And I honestly think when people have asked me, to me, it sounds like they just don't trust the cars to stay together more so than the mounts. We still, I mean, how you can wreck in these, it can break those bars and you never know. So I think they're more concerned about having a emergency parachute, and that is the belts around the frames and the bars.
I mean, I wouldn't blame it on one specific thing, but at the end of the day, you have to think. I mean, is the seat strong enough to withstand that and nothing come off with it? You have to think about how strong is the bolts that's holding in your XC gear. I mean, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with the device itself. I mean, it's plenty. I think it's plenty strong, like it's going to hold. But you also have to factor in, is my seat strong enough? Because if you crash a race car, your seat can bend forward. Look at, for example, Chase Johnson's crash. His seat bent forward, and ultimately that's what got him paralyzed.
Well, and that seems like a blame for the
right.
brackets, right? The distance of the brackets. It was like he had 5-inch spacers on there.
Well, yeah. Well, he had. I don't remember exactly what the number was. I want to say
it was long.
I'll tell you, he had a 5/8 bolt in there, which is, in my opinion, too long. And also, in my opinion, which this is completely opinion, where he mounted his seat, where his top bolts were, probably weren't in the best spot, especially on the Butler belt deal, where the way that their seats are built. I feel like they could have put it maybe in a better spot where they had their bolts ran. But you also have to think about too. I mean, when you're running this XC gear deal, is the seat strong enough to stay together with? Because I mean, if something happens to your seat and something happens from the center of your seat up, the XC gear is going to go with the seat. So you have to factor that in too, and that can bring up a lot of problems. So it just needs some testing done to see. You have to test the strength of everything. That's what it comes down to. Is everything strong enough to withstand it?
Well, and like Darren said in that meeting, if he was to, the problem is testing, because if he was to inspect Chase's car the night of the wreck, he would have probably looked at it and said it was fine, because we lack testing with all these different contraptions we have, and we don't get to find out that it's wrong until our test dummies are people right now, until something happens.
And the other deal too, in my opinion, I mean, I feel like something needs to be done with the way sprint cars are built. And here's the way I think about it. When you have a seat that is mounted straight up and down, literally straight up and down vertically, when you crash and you land flat, that you are compressing your entire body, and all of that goes straight down your spine. When you're sitting straight up, you land flat, you compress down, that's going straight down your spine. So there needs to be some way to get a sprint car seat that has more pitch. You need to have your spine at probably 20 degrees of angle, and I think that would probably eliminate more problems than a lot of things. But sprint cars are, I'm not going to say stuck in the past, but
they are.
We've just been doing the same thing for so long. It's just time for a change in the safety category.
Well, and I did bring up your
common sense.
Well, I did bring up your dad's idea on the show the other day when we were talking about the seat getting rejected. I do think that is a good idea to, his idea to move the steering box up, get that out of the way so you can move the seat up a little bit, tilt it over. I even went to KSE about that idea. And KSE says that they would have to change the mold to make it more proper, obviously, the actual casting. Yeah. But they're up to
literally change.
They're up to making alternative steering box for that idea that your dad has, which sounds great. I said on the show, that's one of the reasons when I raced or hot lapped a sprint car, it's probably the most uncomfortable car in the world because your knees are right there on the box. I mean, luckily now they got the half boxes. The most comfortable car I've ever been in is the big block, but that's because, you have the space there. You're sitting the same way as a sprint car. You just have another 10 inches of space in front of your knees. So, but KSC's
Right.
open to building a separate cast of a steering box to attempt your dad's idea, which to me was the best idea of anyone at the meeting or anyone I talked to try to add pitch with the current problem. The big
Well,
problem is with the current car that hasn't ever changed. That's like one of the only ideas that kind of makes sense that could be better was your dad's.
well, I mean, yeah, and of course, I mean, it's common sense that that's gonna work. Like, it's obvious. But the problem is not thinking of the idea of how to do it. It's having to do it. Because again, you would have to literally reinvent the wheel to make that happen. I mean, everything in the cockpit of a sprint car has to change, and not even just the cockpit. You have to change the entire design of a sprint car frame to pull that off.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were
you're talking
saying
about
that
moving,
rail,
you're
that
talking about
rail.
moving your steering gear.
Yeah. Well,
I
that's
mean,
what
when you
they
got to
were
move it
saying. They would have to.
480.
Sorry, not trying to cut you off twice, but that's what they were saying. They would have to change the cast for that, and then obviously the manufacturers of the chassis would have to change that bar they have that actually where the steering wheel mounts.
Yeah, you would have to move everything in the cockpit of a sprint car just to get the steering wheel or the seat to have more pitch in it. And when you look at a late model, modified, any type of door car, you see these guys laying flat on their wheels all the time. And I'm not going to say they're fine, but I mean they're fine. So I mean, in my opinion, that's what needs to happen. It's going to take probably 5 years to get that to happen, but at some point I think it will, and everything's moving in the right direction on the safety deal.
Do you that'd be interesting to know if he has a picture of a cockpit where he's done something like that, because he said he's done it before. That'd be interesting to know what it looks like.
Well, he's got drawings. I can't share those, but he's got drawings of it. I mean, it's something he's thought about for years, and I mean, it all makes sense. But
he said he's done it
just
before
needs
too.
to be oh, not physically, no.
Okay.
There hasn't been never built a car to do it.
Okay.
But I mean, it's been drawn. I mean, everything's been thought out. It's to the point now where it just needs to be executed, you know?
Okay. So this new year with you with this 12X team, how's that worked out so far? How did it even come to be?
I mean, we can just start from the beginning of the deal. I mean, I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave Johnny by any means. I mean, we just got going pretty good. But at the end of the day, in Johnny's position, it kind of all comes down to sponsorship and what I bring to the table. Well, unfortunately, we couldn't come to an agreement on it, and it sucks, but it is what it is ultimately. But so I was in a kind of a pinch. I mean, I didn't really have anything coming up. I mean, I had a few deals, but nothing like what I wanted to really go do. And then Hank made his move to go do it. He did, and ultimately it just opened up a deal for me, which Billy and them, all their guys, they reached out to us last year about running their car, and they just weren't fully, they didn't have their program built up to what it kind of needed to be. And so we just kind of bounced around. I mean, obviously I went and raced for Dutcher for the first part of the year. Then I ended up with Johnny, and now they're getting to the point where they have a real solid sprint car team. So now is just the time to kind of pounce on it. And obviously Hank quit, so it just opened it up, and I just kind of fell right into my lap, honestly.
Well, and then that was on the heels of the Outlaw Tour. What was running the Outlaw Tour even like? Obviously, started out pretty quick with the quick times down there at Volusia. It looked like it got rough throughout the year. Is a year on the Outlaw Tour different than anything you thought of, or was it more so you're just in it and it's happening, you know?
Well, I mean, it happened so fast.
Because you raced a
obviously,
decent
I was
amount
really
in the
fast.
South, technically, right? I mean, you raced as much as you could growing up.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I raced a decent bit, but I didn't race. I mean, not what you would consider to be a lot. I mean, there was one year where I ran like 45 races, and that was to me a lot.
That's a lot
Like
for the South.
Yeah, it's not bad. But I mean, the year before that, I ran like 25 races. So, one, I was completely not prepared for it at all, and I mean, going into Florida, like, yeah, we were really fast, but I went into everything with a really clear mind. I had zero expectation, and I got really lucky. I started out as fast as you could ever possibly be, and just that, like, my confidence was through the roof. I was like, man, this might not be as tough as I think it is. Like, maybe I'm a little bit better than I think I am. Well, then I got humbled incredibly quickly, and once you go from being as good as you were, and I was running really good at home, you go to Florida, you run really good, you're on top of the world basically. Then you go to the next few weeks and you're struggling to run 15th, you run 10th, and it's like, wow, this is a really good night. And you get into that pattern of just, you run 15th and it's tough, you get burnt out, and the mental side of it is the hardest part of doing that. And most people don't think about it like that. I mean, being 16 doing it didn't help me at all because I had no clue anything about life. So I had to learn all that on top of figuring out how to race with these guys. So it was just tough. I mean, it's hard to do when you don't have really any experience. And I'm super grateful for it. I mean, it taught me life lessons I'll appreciate forever. And it was really awesome to do. But looking back on it, I should have waited, and I should have built my confidence up in the 410, and I should have been more prepared for it. But again, at the time, I mean, I was running out of options with my dad running the racetrack. My schedule was about to get cut in half of what was already a pretty small schedule. So I just had to pounce on it. And like I said, I'm forever grateful for what I did. Like, I have no regrets. But yeah, I mean, I have so many takeaways. I could sit here and talk about it for hours, but my main deal is just the mental side of doing that is, I mean, it's as tough as you can think of, really.
Well, and I remember being high on it when it started, and then when it started falling off, getting grief from people, and I was in explanations, and I was like, I get you are used to Gio Selzy and everybody coming from California at 16 and Kofoids, and we're used to these young drivers just hitting the scenes, and if they get a big ride, they go. It is a little different, and I was saying, like, coming from that southern region, and it's not a true disrespect to the people racing down there, but it is such a jump in comparison to somebody coming out of California or coming out of PA or coming out of the Midwest. I think in comparison down there, it's kind of like most people do like a roller coaster where they just start, like, I would say, in Texas, and then they, like, almost Aaron Reitzel, he went up to Knoxville 410, Arizona 410, and then he went up to All-Stars and then the Outlaws and High Limit. And it's like you went from local, and then you went all the way to the top, and then you dropped down to the regional stuff with the Dutcher and the regional stuff with Herrera, and then now you're, like, in this down effect, but you're trying to reestablish after already it's just like you went up so fast. It was like you didn't get that PA regional experience or the California regional experience. It's not a knock on the South, really. I think there's some good drivers down there. I think there's definitely track styles that the stuff you learn down there can make you better than some of the guys from the other regions, but it's very specific, like a Riverside or a short track. I think a guy from the South or a very slick track can do very well. But did you notice that big gap after the fact, like after the Outlaw Tour, going from down there to the Outlaw Tour and then into the other regions? I feel like that's where you kind of learn, like, the levels in between, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. I don't want to say that racing down here is any, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not competitive, but it's not even close.
It don't have the money in the teams. It don't have the money in the teams.
Right. Well, and at the end of the day, I mean, racing in the South and the sprint car deal, I mean, I'm not going to say it's hobby racing, but it's almost hobby racing. So you're going from guys that do this because they love it to guys that do this because, one, because they love it, but two, because it's their job. It's what they do for a living. So just the competitiveness of it is so much different. I mean, these guys, like, you have your top national guys. Most people don't realize how fast these guys really are. I mean, it's pretty incredible to race against them. And same deal when you go on like a Power I race or something. Just the aggressiveness of it and just the overall speed these guys have is crazy. And I mean, it's hard to see that if you're not, involved in it. But I don't want to call it a skill gap, but it's almost a skill gap. And the skill gap from what I was doing before to what I was doing with Jay on the Outlaw deal is, I mean, it's incredible. And it's almost something you just have to experience to truly understand it.
I think it's financial gap as well. Probably more so than anything. I think that's why you see the 305 scene down there being your dominant class most of the time, at least Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma. I think that's also why, your really good ASCS teams are kind of the guys with the money, the really good ones, with the little experience and skill. But at the end of the day, a ASCS national operation in that little region down there, even if you're regional, I don't think they're not even close to spending the money that say like a Macquarie spending or a Tommy Tarleton on the West Coast or a Brian Brown team in the Midwest or one of these
Right.
regional powerhouse teams, the money, and then you add in 10 other guys that are spending just as much just in these regional areas. I think that's really the separation more so than talent. It's just equipment.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, you can put this on money, but a lot of what it falls back on is how many races these guys are running and the resources they have. I mean, when you're running 80 races a year, you're getting 4 times the experience of a lot of the local guys. On top of these guys have resources like crazy. I mean, they have everything. I mean, between shock dynos, bar dynos, pull down rigs, I mean, they have the whole 9 yards. And I think that's what separates a lot of these guys more than anything. And granted, yeah, that falls back on the money, but at the same time, your top teams are a business. They're not doing this because it's fun. They're doing this because it's a business. So, I mean, there's a few factors in it ultimately.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the most shocking thing about Houston, which was probably one of your best races last year. But the shop up there, I mean, you go into it and, I've been into a bunch of, outlaw shops or high profile PA teams and California teams. And most of the time they got, equipment in there, this, that, and the other, maybe some little special item here or there. But you go into the Houston shop and they basically have a machine shop in the shop. Like Cody
It's
has
the same deal. It's
everything.
the same deal at TSR.
Same thing at TSR,
Right.
you're saying?
I mean, and it's the same deal with all your top teams. I mean, look at Rico. Ricky Warner understands every aspect of a sprint car between motors, shocks, bars, like the whole deal. So when you got guys like Ricky who work on these race cars and they understand every aspect of it between literally everything, and you got guys that have money that can afford all these resources, they're going to be superior to every other team. I mean, that's just how it works. It's no different in the NASCAR world. The guys with the most resources are the guys that are superior, obviously. So, I mean, in my opinion, it all falls back on, how much effort you put into a race team is what you're going to get out of it. How much money you're spending, what you're doing, how much work's going into it is what I mean, that's just what proves.
Right. And it's not just maintenance work. I feel like people that hear work, like that's what I'm saying. It's not just getting things ready and cleaning and polishing. Like when you see that machine shops that these guys have, and then you have a mind like a Ricky Warner or a Cody Jacobs, you start realizing real quick that, yeah, you could go buy every piece that David Gravel's car's got in the same size this and the same bars and the same everything, but
Yeah, it's
these
about
guys are
knowing how
going
to
in
use
there.
it.
Yeah, they're going in. Well, they're also going into that machine shop and customizing pieces on those items. They're also that's where the speed's being made, little bitty tweaks here and there all over the car.
I mean, yeah, for sure. That's definitely part of it. But, I mean, you take a guy like Paul Silva. He's an incredible crew chief, not because he can make a race car go fast. He's as good as he is, one, because he understands the race car, but two, because of the work he puts in, the resources he has, but more just how meticulous he is with everything. His race car is perfect every single night. He's not doing anything crazy. Kyle Larson's race car is no different than any other race car in the pits. One, Kyle is an incredible race car driver. He's an alien. He's just incredible. But
Of course.
Paul he's really dialed in on the small things. Same deal with Ricky Warner. These guys aren't running different setups than we've got. Like, we're all on similar stuff.
I think it's custom
they-
parts.
You can say custom parts. I don't think. I mean, yeah, that exists, but that's not. I mean, that's not much. There's not enough parts on a race car that can be custom to make it any faster.
Whether it's a bend here or bend there, or shave this piece and shave that piece, I think that they got their program. I think that's why they say our program a lot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they just have everything specific to what they need and what they do, and that's just what makes you superior. I mean, Paul Silva, he's a really good fabricator. He's good at every single part of the race car, so that's what makes those guys stand out. And you can pin that on money, whatever, but Paul Silva on the 57 car with Shane Stewart running ASCS in 2010 was no different. I mean, these guys are really dialed in on the small details of what goes on a sprint car. So that's just what makes them superior.
Well, and combo matters. That's why I think Donnie could still do something. I mean, the greatest example of a driver, car, crew chief combo, can make the difference, honestly, is Ryan Timms. That's the best example in the world. A lot of people were writing Timms off for a while there, and then he gets with that Liebig crew, and Liebig does something to the car that he likes, and they're gelling, and the turns are working here, turns are working there, and then all of a sudden Ryan Timms is Knoxville National Champion, and Port Royal on the fence.
Yeah.
But that's a combo. That is an example of, like, if you get into the right combination, you can be just almost anybody and start doing some damage. Ryan Timms, they wouldn't even said he was a somebody a year ago. They would have said, "Oh yeah, that guy who was good."
And it doesn't. You can't just be anybody and be Shane Liebig. Shane,
that's what I'm saying.
Walk up to Shane, you wouldn't.
But
think
Shane had some drivers as well that didn't.
One of those guys.
I'm just saying, but Shane had drivers. I'm not discrediting Ryan in that. It's the combo. I'm not saying Shane isn't a thing and Ryan isn't a thing. I'm saying that combo of them together made that happen, because he had some drivers in there that didn't do what Timms could do with it.
Well, I mean, Ryan's a really good race car driver. I mean, that's obvious. But, I mean, the other deal, too, is they have chemistry like most teams don't have. I mean, I raced with them all year. I experienced it. Shane, Marty, Ryan, those guys get along as good as anybody. I mean, that's a family. So you got to factor that in, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, another big deal is just the chemistry between a driver and a crew chief. And yeah, I mean, they're going to scream at each other every once in a while and want to kill each other, but that is what makes a team. Look at Donnie with Ricky Warner. I mean, you would think they hated each other, but they were fast. They won every single race together. And that type of relationship, I think, is what does more for a race team than anything.
Well, it depends on who you are as a driver, too. I mean, some people respond to get like the football coach that grabs the helmet and yells, and some people don't. Some people work in different ways. Horses are different, so
it falls back on your upbringing for sure. See, somebody talked about wind tunnels with sprint cars. That is definitely a thing, but it's not super common.
Yeah, I don't think it's super common either. 5-star getting their body involved will be interesting to see what they do, because they obviously have wind tunnel access since they deal with asphalt cars all the time. So
right,
the bodies and everything.
I looked at it at PRI, and honestly, there's not much different about the 5-star body to many other bodies. I mean, it's all pretty similar.
I mean, you could say that, but there's things you could see in the wind tunnel that are insane. Millimeters of a bend here or a bend there can change the whole way that car cuts through the air, and you can't see it. I mean, look at how long
a sprint car makes way more force than most people probably think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's definitely.
I can go and see. I can tell you right now, an inch on a top wing wicker bill on a wind tunnel is 500 pounds between a 1-inch wicker bill to a 2-inch.
Right.
You can think about how much that is.
It depends. I mean, the turbulence of a sprint car is not studied well, I don't think, either, especially in a full pack.
Probably not. I mean, a sprint car makes almost 150,000 pounds of force, so there's a lot there that I feel like should probably be studied more. But also at the same time, we can't do anything because of the rules. Like, what are you gonna do? You know?
Right. What do you feel about the short track nationals being an outlaw show? I think it's the perfect thing, potentially giving the South a crown jewel, big event, a major, as some people are calling these bigger races where both sides are on. Me, of course, coming up in the South, Winter Nationals was a major. Obviously, it was one of the first outlaw races in the country. Spring Nationals, Winter Nationals, but Short Track Nationals was right there with it. Obviously, Devil's Bowl's gone. Short Track Nationals kind of is the South's only marquee race remaining. What do you think about it being a Saturday? What do you think about it being a Friday, Saturday show? Jason Johnson. I don't know how much that race means to you. Obviously, it's Crawleyville over there, so.
No, I mean, obviously Jason's from that area, so if you're gonna ask me, I'm gonna say I think it's huge, and I'm not saying that because my dad runs the racetrack. I mean, you can ask my dad how much I dislike that place. I love racing there.
Yeah, like I said, it's huge.
Like
I mean, it's a huge event. Event.
It's huge. It's huge for that region. I mean, we have nothing down here really. Yeah, the Outlaws come to Texas at the beginning of the year, but there's no big races. They go down there, in my opinion, almost to just fill the schedule. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's huge for our region, and it's awesome that it's at my dad's racetrack. I mean, that part to me, I mean, that means a ton. And yeah, back to it being short track. Short track was a crown jewel race for the 360 deal for a long time. I mean,
even for the 410 to begin with. I mean, it was a 410 race originally.
On that race, it's a pretty stout list. So, yeah, I think it's huge. I'm excited for it, especially with it being the Jason Johnson race. I mean, that's another really big deal. It just and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on at Texarkana. It's got a ton of improvements to still going, but I mean, I know what the vision is for that place, and I can confidently say 5 years from now I could see short track being a crown jewel race as long as there's people there that can bring some money into it and can help further the event. It's going to take time to get it back on the map. And even short track this year, I mean, it didn't go perfect, and I mean, of course, could have been better, but it was still a solid turnout. I mean, so there's a ton of potential there. I mean, I'm really excited for it for sure. I'm praying everything goes good, and I really hope that people can tune into it and see how awesome of a racetrack Texarkana is. I mean, it's got a ton of potential.
Yeah, I remember going there as a kid, and it was a hell of a racetrack. It reminded me of I-30. Cowtown was one of my favorite tracks when I was growing up in the DFW area. High bank quarter miles always were fun and exciting. The guy who won that race, though, was a Camouflage 11J, Paul Sides. He was really good back in that day. But it's always been a really high bank track. Of course, the wall being around it, that's a new addition. That was never before, but that's good for building cushions. It should be a good race. What do you mean as far as improvements coming in the future? Are you saying they're going to build stands all the way around it and make it like Bristol, or what?
Well, it may not be the Coliseum that Bristol is, but I mean, at some point, I mean, there's going to be suites around the place. There's going to be signage. There's going to be more stands, more parking, and honestly, the racetrack's in a primo location. I mean, you couldn't ask for it to be in a better spot. It's right off the side of the interstate, so. I mean, everything about the location of the place is good. The vision of the track is good. And it just keeps improving. The facility is already, I mean, it's solid. I'm not going to say it's as good as it gets. It's not Lucas Oil, but the potential for it to be close to that is there. And I'll go ahead and say at some point it will be there. And it all falls back on finding people to support it. But ultimately, the ultimate goal for what short track and Jason Johnson Classic will be, it's huge, and I just hope that people will catch on to it. I mean, we're not in a sprint car area at all. So,
well, I mean, that's also the problem with that area, though, is you're not in a race fan area either. It's just weekly events down there are almost impossible to sustain. I feel like for any track. Down there in the south region of the country, especially that. I mean, there's some race fans. Not saying there's none, But, your regular weekly events, I know they're crying about it in PA and California and stuff like that, but they have no idea. Down there, it's extremely hard to do weekly racing. You almost have to build a short track nationals and then maybe another big late. You almost have to go the Eldora route where you have like 2 or 3
Right.
home run hitters and you got this giant facility, that makes money.
Well, and at first that was the aspect of what Texarkana was going to be. It was going to be one of those places that ran 15 races a year and had 15 good races. But it's so tough to do that, and you almost have to have weekly racing to support a racetrack. And it's not just down there. I mean, it's everywhere. Weekly
Right.
racing is struggling so bad right now. I don't think most people realize it unless you're on the inside of it. But I mean, weekly racing it's bad. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's a
honestly.
it's a
And there's
losing
still
money
some
proposition. You're
that-
losing money.
Oh, absolutely. You're banking off your big races. That's the only place. That's the time that
Right.
you're going to do good with it. So, and
Well, I
and
mean,
weekly racing in that area is substantially worse.
well, let's just take Eldora for an example. I think they run 11 races total. Maybe not even that. I think it's 11 nights. I think it's more so like 6 events
Right.
or 7 events, and the Four Crown kind of bombs. I mean, their little Applegate race is kind of empty. I mean, they have a facility there really that makes money 3 times a year, and that's the 2 late model shows
Right.
and the one and the King's Royal. And that's
So when you get 30,000 people, that covers plenty. But you have to.
well,
have
if you
those
build
big races
stands
to
around
do.
67 Bristol style, now you have the capabilities to do that.
Well, you can have all the facility you want, but you have to have the people to show up.
Well, that's true. I do think that the event that's coming is close to doing that. That could be the one right now. I think that's possible. A big late mall event there could work too. Obviously, there's late mall support in that region.
Well, and that's the other deal too. I mean, a late model race down there would be really good, but it'd have to be a flow racing, Lucas Oil, whatever you want to call it, series. And even the Road of Outlaws races, the late model deal, they don't do that incredible down there.
Boot Hill was packed.
It's pulling teeth. Yeah, but Boot Hill is packed on a weekly race. So, I mean, you almost have to write that one off. That place always does good. They have their diehard fan base. Texarkana doesn't, so it needs more of the national series down there, and it just needs building. Ultimately, it just needs building, and it needs people to come support it.
I know you said you're not a Lucas Oil facility, but Lucas Oil would trade their facility with you if they could trade the location by far. Like you said, it's off the side of the highway, but it's like what, 10 minutes, 5 minutes from not a major metropolitan. It's not huge, Texarkana, but it's every bit as big as Tulsa. I would say.
Oh, absolutely. Texarkana is growing constantly, so there's so much potential for where that racetrack is.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's got the ability. You could fly in, you could fly out. The track's right down the road. After the races, there's so many things to do. It has the combination that if it is invested into properly, I think one big late model, one big sprint car show. I think the sprint car show's kind of solidified now. And I don't really think there's too many sprint car shows, even when you look at the big ones that are 20,000 each night. Yeah, they got the 6-figure paydays, but 20K 2 nights in a row don't happen a lot right now.
There's not, but I mean, to me, it almost seems like you have to put up 100,000 for fans to really, get involved in it.
Or you just have to have a badass show.
It seems.
I mean, it just needs that. It needs the stage. It needs the stage. Look at what Red Dirt got, for crying out loud. Just because they had a little bit of a stage and a decent race.
If you go back and watch the ASCS race at Texarkana, it's one of the best races I've ever watched in my life, and I don't feel like it got the credit it deserved because it was truly an amazing race.
You also have to.
It got a little bit of love for it.
You do have to have the name involved. Obviously, it was Larson and Reitzel going at it at Red Dirt, for instance. So,
oh, that's true. Well, that's the biggest thing. I mean, if you're a race and you want to watch the people that you see on TV every week. You want to see your NASCAR drivers, and you want to see your top guys. So, I mean, it takes a lot to get a lot, but it's hard to do.
Well, and you got to also, understand that I would say at least at the bigger events, 40% of the audience watching is usually or is the racers. So, like, what I mean,
absolutely.
like ASCS drivers are watching Kings Royal and Knoxville Nationals, whereas outlaw drivers ain't watching an ASCS race. So that's also a part of it as well, because those people are attached to their local sponsors, and the local sponsors now want to go too. So, and I think that's the biggest issue with the micro scene, for instance. That's why I think that's why football's so big, for instance. You got the high school and the local area levels, and everybody wants to see what they're doing, but the pro version of it. And, I think micros costing as much as they do now, we don't have a budget class for regular people to get involved in and then look up to the national stuff anymore. So we don't really have budget classes.
Not in the open.
Well, sorry?
There's no open wheel class, right, that you can go do at a reasonable financial point. There's not anything.
Right. That's what micros used to be until, they all came along with their carbon fibers, and there almost needs to be a new micro division, like a budget or a Econo micro or something, where you outlaw all the fancy parts. Let it still be a stock motor. The motor's kind of not the issue, but get rid of the fancy shit that's, yes, it adds a tenth here and a half tenth there, but it also costs $5,000 to $10,000 for each of those half tenths.
Well, and I think that's what's going to come with the 305 deal. I mean, ultimately, 305s are working in the right direction, and I think at some point, a 305 sprint car could be what a micro was. I mean, the price point's not crazy. It's not cheap by any means, but racing isn't cheap. But it's not absurd. I mean, the micro deal, you're pouring so much money into that. It's crazy. I mean, a frame and body for a mini sprint costs as much as a sprint car right now, and the motors aren't a whole lot better.
Yeah, the only issue with that, you're right, but the only issue with that is I wouldn't feel too worried about taking Jim Bob out of the grandstands and taking him to a little 8th mile or 5th mile track and letting him drive a micro for the first time, But I might have a problem with him going to a quarter mile and jumping in a fucking it's still a 305, but it's a sprint car now. Now we're not in a micro running 45-50. We're in a sprint car running 85-90 on a short track and 100+ on a bigger one. I think that was also the element. It was kind of that safe class.
I can see both sides of it. And I mean, the other deal too, I feel like, in my honest opinion, I think the outlaw kart deal right now is better than the micros as far as a, 14 and under class. I think the outlaw karts is probably what should be superior. More, it teaches you what you need to learn to go race a sprint car, and it just teaches you more, and it's cheaper ultimately. And
you could buy speed in those,
but
the
305 deal, well, you can buy speed in anything. I mean, that you'll never prevent that. It's not possible. But the 305 deal, I mean, I feel like is a decent beginner's class. I mean, it's not overly competitive. It's pretty simple, and I mean, it's something to get your feet wet in. And I mean, I feel like the way you're looking at it, you're worried about a guy that's never really drove anything getting in it and getting hurt, but a guy that's never really
or
drove
hurting you or another guy, And the tire bill,
I've been in that
the tire bill is still the problem with the 305 is the tire bill is just as much most of the time. That's the other problem.
Well, if you're that worried about the bill, it's a hobby that probably isn't financially available to begin with.
Once again, but that's also the problem. We don't have enough people doing it to then be fans of it. So that's what I'm saying. We don't have a budget, normal, open wheel car. I think that's why the fender world's so big. It's because so many people can't afford 4-cylinder or a little hobby stock, or you got a lot of these little fendered classes.
Well,
And they all look up to the big modified and late model guys. I think that's also another reason why their industry's bigger. They have more feeder fans, you know, they have more.
Absolutely.
Look,
And like Raymond just said with the Speedster deal, I think that's another really
Yeah.
good class. I mean,
yeah.
it's financially available, and everything about that class it makes sense. I wish Speedsters were more common in other places other than just Pennsylvania. That needs to be a thing all around the country.
The micro cartel does not like that car. We want to talk about motor cartels and Hoosiers, and the micro cartel guaranteed does not want that car to be known about at all.
Well, I'm sure they don't, but they don't want it to be known because they're losing money on it. I mean,
100%.
ultimately,
Yeah.
and it sucks. That's the way it works, but that's just the way it works. But no, that class is a very good beginner class. Everything about the Speedsters is good. I mean,
Yeah.
everything. They check all the boxes, in my opinion. That's what needs to be more prevalent.
Yeah, that needs to become a national division. The craziest thing I've seen with those is the 75 lapper they do at Selinsgrove. Could you imagine dropping that car in at Selinsgrove?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
That's a thing at Selinsgrove.
Yeah. I mean, they're basically a non-wing sprint car just tamed down.
Yeah. Well,
Those
they're
things are
small
cool,
too.
dude. I want to drive one.
They're a little bigger than a midget, I guess. Yeah, just barely though. They're not too much bigger than a midget. Just barely. But I
a 410 class tamed down is almost impossible just because of how much a motor costs.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd almost have to. Well, the LS motor, I'm interested to see how the LS motor in Canada does. That'll be very interesting.
I think that'll be good. It's a really solid base.
Okay. Well, it is getting late. I don't want to keep you up too longer. So my only development, we were talking about safety earlier, because I was really liking your dad's idea. Talk to KSC about it. They think they would oblige the idea. I have an idea though. I think the only way, I still say the car's the issue. I think the only way to properly address a newer car is we have to find a way to, and I'm talking to a few chassis guys, not the big names, but it's going to have to be an oddball guy who, you know, wants to do something. I'm thinking a 92 to 94 inch car has to be made that can compete with the 86s to 88s. And that's the only way you're going to get a newer car is if you actually build a bigger car that can then compete. Because it's hard for an 88 to keep up with these 6s and 7s. So going up 6 more inches, 7 more inches is going to be almost impossible. But I'm thinking, you know, you build a car like that, you get some minds like Sammy or Dale Blaney involved, and you could maybe make something happen. I'm just thinking, what's your opinions?
Well, it will never be possible to make a 90-plus inch car work with what we're running right now. It's just not.
You don't think it could be competitive?
Not physically. No, I don't think there's any way.
Even if you widened it up a little bit, gave it more stance, it could dominate a track like Knoxville. It could technically be more dominant.
It could roll around the track good, but it's just not going to be as stuck or have as much drive as a short car is going to have. I mean, you got to think about it too. A long wheelbase car is just going to be lazier. Everything's going to react a little bit slower,
which may benefit on a bigger track.
There's no way for it to benefit. You got to have drive at all times. I mean,
did you see the car that Dale Blaney and Dave won the race with? Did you see that thing?
Well, yeah, but that's going to be a standard wheelbase car on everything else.
What is everything else? This is what I'm saying.
I don't know.
This is what I'm saying. Can you take a 94 and put all this everything else on there and find something that could at least keep up? I think that's the only way possible to have this is all I'm saying, to actually have a safer alternative to race sprint cars. That's the only other option outside of your steering arms and, you know, everything. I think that's the only option is if you could develop a car that is bigger but can compete with the ones currently running. It would be hard. I'm not saying it's easy. That's just my only idea.
So it would take years and years of R&D to make that work. I mean, you'd have to test that with a ton of people, and there'd have to be a ton of people involved in on it, and it would take a lot. I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it would take so much resource that it'd almost be impossible in this level of sport. I mean,
You gotta
think
look at it
some
like a
point it could be
Cadillac. You
possible.
gotta look at it like a Cadillac, though. We're gonna put, like, instead of the fire suppression bottle on the top all clamped on, we'll have like an actual welded encased box for the fire suppression. The stuff will go all through there. We'll have a little water bottle compartment. It'll be like a Cadillac. You'll have all this room. There'll be like leather seats, heated steering wheel. I'm just thinking you could do so much if you just open up that compartment that I
Well,
don't know. I'm just thinking of all the safety. You could have crush zones now. You can have steel plated compartments
sprint
that
cars,
I'm just
sprint cars
saying.
aren't cattle.
That's
The whole
what we're trying
mindset
to
of a
get
sprint
away
car is
from.
how
That's what we're trying to
rapid.
get away from, though, Landon. I know you might want to die in a car. It's very noble. I mean, maybe that's what you think is cool, but I don't. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, well, I mean, I want to be as safe as possible at all times, but right now there's not much. Racing's dangerous. There's no way around it, and there's no way to just have an instant fix. I mean, it's going to take years and years of research and just slow progression to get to that point. I don't think there'll be a time where you can just go build a 100-inch race car and make it fast. That will never be possible. It's going to take. I mean, you're going to have to reinvent the wheel at some point to make it work. And it's going to be hard to get everybody on board for it, but at some point it'll happen. I don't know how long it's going to take, but sometime within the next 15 years, I could see a sprint car looking completely different than what we see now. And we'll have what you could consider a somewhat safe race car. It's going to take time. It's going to take people getting involved in on it. And we're working in the right direction. We're really, really fresh on the safety department. This is something, in my opinion, that hasn't really been thought about until the last 5-10 years. So everything's fresh, and it's just going to take time to be able to see, what happens.
Well, and like I the rule book almost has to be thrown out. I see the comment about the 90 inches as the law, but and this is what I said to Pittman and all these people, this next gen sprint car idea that I throw it around, they think it's crazy and all that. And I'm like, yeah, it is. They're like, well, nobody can afford it. I'm like, you're thinking too small. You go and study NASCAR, when you go and study, any IndyCar, for instance, when they go to another model car, it's only a certain amount of people who can afford the newer model car. And so what happens is that's how you get to Hendrick and Gibbs and Penske as these giant conglomerates, because they were the only few that could afford to innovate in safety, like the COT era. And they're like, oh, well, there's not enough people in sprint car racing to do that. Okay, maybe not right now, but in 3 years, we're going to have 15 high limit teams franchise. I would assume World of Outlaws is going to be somewhere close to 15 as well. And then if they get to a point where they're like, hey, let's just all come together, then you'll have a total of 30 cars. So at that point, if you want to be safer and some big driver dies in 3 or 4 years, then you come out with a new car that the 30 teams that are the national tour can afford, and that's your new national sprint car tour group. And that's technically what NASCAR did. And then that's why you had ARCA. So then, like, everybody who would be against that new car with those 30 teams on the national scene, they would become ARCA, because ARCA ran the old Cup car while NASCAR was doing COT for like 10 years. And so did a bunch of other series. So I think, honestly, if a new car, a new design, or all this doesn't happen, there is going to be a new car. And it's going to be so fucking so expensive that these groups, these rich people, the top 30 people in sprint car racing with the 15 franchises from High Limit and the 15 from the Outlaws, they're going to be the only ones who can afford it. And you're going to have a national sprint car tour with 30 cars, and that's going to be it. That's what I think. And then the few other teams who can afford it, then they'll get to race. And that's it.
I mean, I think at some point there will be a point where there's something like a car of tomorrow, but it's gonna take a lot. I mean, it's gonna take 10 guys getting together, like my dad, Brian Shanae. It's gonna take those type guys to get in and make it happen. And right now it's just waiting on that to happen. I mean, like I said, we're moving in the right direction. It all falls back on time and how long it's gonna take. And I don't think money is the problem. Like I don't think money is holding anything back. I mean, everybody that races a sprint car wants to be safer in a sprint car. So ultimately, it's going to happen. It's just going to take time.
Yeah, but the people who have the chassis jigs made and chassis made and purchased, they don't want to just throw them away and get something new. That's a lot of money. And then obviously, if you have a sprint car to tomorrow, what also happens is that you have contracts. Like I was in PRI, I went to eat at a restaurant, and I ran into a guy who's got the contract who makes all the transmissions for Penske and Hendrick. He's contracted from the United Kingdom to make $80,000 transmissions, and no one else can make them. And that's what happens. Like with the new cars of tomorrow that NASCAR had, you had a few people who were contracted by NASCAR to make these cars. Well, that's the next gen. Sorry. But there's only one company that makes all the cars, and that's the business, it'll just be business when it happens.
I mean, obviously I can't say if that's going to happen. I don't think anybody knows. I mean, I doubt anybody expected that to come with NASCAR, but in my opinion, that started in NASCAR because of your guys like Childress and you have your top teams, and that's where that came from. Here, there's so many top teams. The quantity of it's so much bigger. I don't feel like that's going to happen. I mean, it's a tight-knit group, and I think it will be forever. So, I mean, like I said,
but I hear what you're saying, money. I hear what you're saying, top teams, but I think you're also underestimating what top is. Like, we are, like, when we were in the building at PRI, we're in the cheapest race car in the building. Like, by far. Like, when we talk about people who have money, like, if a sprint car costs $300,000 to build, now everybody don't have top-tier money. Now only a few guys do. That's why I'm saying that's how you get to your Penske's, Hendricks, and Childresses, is you start outpricing the little guy. And the little guy is us right now. We're race ready for $100,000. That's insane for the rest of that building at PRI. That's crazy.
Yeah. But you also got to look at it this way, too. A sprint car is so simple. There's only so much you can do. So, I mean, you can pour as much money into it as you want, but it's a performance-wise, it's not going to make you any better.
Right. So, when you look at the other cars that are developed, safety is the only reason things start to cost more. That's what happens.
Yes and no. I mean,
tethers.
Example,
tethers. Not trying to cut you off, but example, tethers. Example, fire suppression system. Example, this and that. This is where the more money starts being implemented.
Yeah, there's money in it, but it's not an absurd amount of money. And that's another thing that it's needed to be in the sport. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to complain about having a fire bottle in their car. I mean, I've ran one forever, and I don't think money is going to be the issue. And our fire bottles are so small, there's never going to be a point where they cost an absurd amount of money.
Right.
I mean, you can bring technology into it, but what are you going to do? So we're almost at the point where we're flatlining what we can do.
Right. I mean, a new roller chassis for a late model is 45, 50, 60,000. We're still rolling at 20. I mean, what happens when that roller starts costing 80?
A $20,000. I don't. It's not possible though.
If it's safety,
I don't think it's possible to pour that money into a roller.
The more bars you put in, the more additions you make. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I'm sure the NASCAR people in 1999 were sitting back saying, "How is this car gonna all of a sudden double in price to make?" And it did. Just by adding some safety elements.
I can see, what you're saying, but it's going to take wholesale change for a sprint car to be drastic in price change. I mean, it's going to take a lot.
Right. It is always unfortunately done in the essence of safety. Look how fast they went to the Hans devices after Dale Sr. I mean, the softer barriers. I mean, back to contracts. Who got the contract on the safer barrier? They're $600 a foot. When you do the math on $600 a foot around every NASCAR track, that's a big contract. That's a lot of money in the essence of safety. We love
Well,
you. We don't want you to get hurt.
Look,
But here's
we don't have to worry.
$45 million. Sorry.
That's a lot of money.
I see what you're saying, but I don't know if sprint cars will ever get to that point.
Yeah.
Not a racetrack.
Big contract.
We'll see if they start. I just think
favorite person.
I think they're going to start separating the regular racing tracks and everything, and they're going to separate to the elite tracks and the elite teams in this process. That's what they did. NASCAR got away from their little tracks too. They went to the big, nice ones. It's the same type of process. IndyCars did it as well. I mean, that's what happens. You get away from your smaller facilities. I mean,
I hope they come to all the smaller tracks.
better racing.
I'm an advocate of going back to smaller tracks.
Now they've learned after a 30-year lesson, though, right?
No, they need to come to the smaller tracks like mine.
NASCAR or the Outlaws?
Hey, I was talking. We had a full segment on probably not NASCAR.
I heard a little bit of it.
I don't think NASCAR is going to be coming to Texarkana anytime soon.
No, the short tracks are where the
We
best
might throw
racing
some
is.
asphalt on it.
Well, if you ask the guy standing next to me, Texarkana is the best.
He got a confused look on his face yet?
Well, I'm waiting for proper response. I mean, we already talked about Texarkana being in a great location with a great future.
He ain't got it yet, does he?
What happened? Is he listening to the phone to respond? That's on delay.
He's standing right next to me.
Okay.
I don't know what he's listening to be honest. I just know he said he wants to reignite this boxing match.
Oh, okay.
You can see where we've made it to, what point we're at.
You're fine.
Hello, Chaz. I just got home.
Oh, you just got in from working at the track or what?
He just called in.
No, I've been at the office all day working on scheduling and just left another local shop. So just come in.
Scheduling for next year, you're saying?
Correct.
Anything special outside the Outlaw shows?
No, we got some late model stuff, some different things, but, naturally the Jason Johnson and the WO announcements are a big announcement for the year, but we got a lot going on, but like I say, the biggest announcement for us at 67 definitely is JJR and WO.
Okay. Yeah, we were talking about it. You look at even Eldora, that's kind of the base model for events tracks, I would say. They don't have a weekly show. They really only nail about 3 shows out of the park. The two late model shows and the King's Royal. The other events, they get a crowd, but it's not a home run. Is that kind of what most tracks are trying to emulate now? Because weekly racing, I mean, it's just almost impossible to get that close, anymore.
I can't really. Our first year was solid rain, so we didn't get any basis or any numbers or anything to measure year one. So you got to throw year one completely out. When you go into year 2, we got a few more events in, and this year, naturally, we got quite a bit more in. So it actually took us all the way into 3 years of having the facility to get any kind of measuring stick or get, kind of any kind of graph on what did work and didn't work. But personally, I mean, in the beginning, we said, yeah, we were going to be a special events facility only and not run any type weekly racing for points championship or anything along that nature. But then this year we did. I don't want to give up on the weekly racing just yet. We're going to push to to try to get more push for our entertainment value in a short, quick show to see what that'll do us this year. I don't want to give up on the weekly racing yet because I feel like if we give up on the beginning, there's not going to be any end. You know, it's just like motocross and go-kart racing and grassroots. We're going to do everything we can to try to push and get our weekly deal elevated this year because I don't want to give up on it yet.
Is that like part of somewhat of a harvest effect? Like even though it's a lot of work to keep the weekly racing going, you're somewhat trying to water the crops in a way. So when you do have the big show up, you already got your base that's going to come, but then you're also going to add on top of it.
I, definitely don't have the answers because again, even though I raced my entire life and have probably 40 years and all that, I just don't want to. I just don't want to give up on the weekly deal. It's you call it whatever you want, watering the grass or however you want to look at it. It's just I feel like there's still a place for it, but I think we've got to just kind of think outside of the box and get more entertainment value at racing facilities, get more ties into what kids, when the family can come out, we got to have more kid activities. I just think there's got to be we just got to look at it different. If it's been failing the way it's been, that's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So just trying to look at some things to get our entertainment value better from a family aspect. And like I say, that's going to be our focus point for this year. We definitely are going to try again to push another season of weekly races. So we've got our specials, but like I say, again, we're not going to give up on the grassroots just yet.
Something that was very interesting, you're bringing this up now that we're talking about weekly racing and a track. One of the seminars I guess I went to for an hour was success in grassroots racing. And one of the track owners did something that I had been talking about on my shows for years, and that is he went to his local state official office. And at his local state official office, he invited some of the actual officials out to a race. And they just had never heard of the track before. They visited it, had a decent time. And then the week after, they started blowing him up on how they could help. And now his track receives grants to put on events due to tourism and stuff like that. I feel like that's an avenue that not a lot of tracks have done. Have you ventured that route with trying to get because it's a decent sized city there. There's got to be some people in powerful positions that could, at least be invited out and check it out and know you are a thing, because that is something that tracks struggle with is local awareness.
Yeah, personally, I've tried to look at everything, but some of the issues is I don't care what racetrack you go to and what city or town, we're not sitting here with just checkbooks with unlimited dots and zeros. So, it would be different if I could go out and hire the right people to go out and do a certain amount of marketing or different avenues of research or trying to grab at those type things. But
are you offering me right now to come? Are you hiring me on the show right now, Tim, to come do this?
Well, I don't know if we're at that point yet or not, but everybody still works with limited resources, and they're basically just trying to do what they can with what's in front of them. And that ends up being you've only got so much time, so many resources, and then you have to sit down and do what you have to do. Mm. And so typical weeks for me is, I'm not crying the blues or anything, but when you're sitting there and you are the water truck driver and you are the guy that repairs the lights and you're the end of the day guy that's, calling the propane company and fixing toilets. And there's only so much you can do that's put in front of you, and then you just have to stop and say, okay, I don't have time to devote hours and hours and hours of just marketing. We have to water a racetrack. We have to prioritize what has to happen to make a show happen this weekend. And a lot of places are, a lot of facilities are in the same boat I am. It's just limited resources. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, you got so much to do that it almost becomes your manager.
Well, most people are not overfunded and overstaffed. They're generally underfunded and understaffed. And that's what most people don't understand on the promoting side. You have to back off and prioritize what has to be done to race every week. And that's why sometimes, people just don't understand what all is involved. And I'm not going to lie. I raced my entire life and thought I had all the answers and spent a lot of years going, if I own this racetrack, I'd do this. If I own the racetrack, I'd do that. And so now I'm getting a taste of it, and it's tough. It's an astronomical amount of work.
Right.
And I can attest to that firsthand now. So I'm not going to say I'm anywhere developed to the point of where I want to be, but I've definitely got my feet wet now. I got my confidence where I need it, but I also understand that there's still a lot to learn in this, but it's tough. It's a tough business for sure.
Well, Landon sounded like there was
so many different things we're dealing with today that, I feel like years ago, there was a time you could say, hey, this racetrack's here. It opens Saturday at 8 o'clock. 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 fans, whatever. They would just be there. You didn't have to do a lot to get them there. Today, we're competing against a lot. And if we don't present something that's entertaining to these people, they may come once, but they're not coming back. And then to get them there to begin with is hard. So I just think we've really got to work on our show, our fan interaction, stuff for the children to do, the kids. It's just going to take a lot of work to get people in the stands.
Well, Landon seems like he's pretty confident that y'all end up being a staple in the long run, like a big deal. You are in a good location. He was talking about y'all aren't to Lucas Oil level yet, but I told him like Lucas Oil would probably trade their facility to be that close to a major city. I think that's one of the issues Lucas Oil has is kind of being out in the middle of nowhere. Y'all are not in the middle of nowhere. There is access. There is ability to grow. The location is prime, for y'all.
I would say yes and no on that. If you're strictly talking about marquee events and big events, look at Eldora. That place, if you want to call it that, it's in the middle of a cornfield, sort of. It's in the middle of nowhere. But again, like y'all already talked about, I was listening to y'all on the way home. They limit the amount of shows. They don't concentrate on weekly shows. They're a marquee event facility. Wheatland, Lucas Oil's a little bit of the same way, but at the same time, it's we could back off and shoot for trying to create marquee events only. But one thing we run into, and this past season we went ahead and did it, is if you schedule 20 shows and Mother Nature don't like you that year, you still could end up only having 6 or 7. If you schedule 6 or 7 shows and Mother Nature doesn't like you, you might not have a race season at all. So that kind of come into play this past year. We went ahead and swung at the fences, booked a bunch of races, and lo and behold, we got a lot of them in. So I don't think there's any recipe anywhere for it. I wish there was, because I would look it up. But
well, and obviously
Eldora and listened and tried to a lot of people and tried to listen myself.
Well, and Eldora is obviously lucky with they can race till 4 or 5 in the morning. I'm sure y'all can too, but they got the loyalty fan base too that'll be there waiting. You know, the campgrounds deal's huge. I think that's why they could pull that off. You know, they get most of their grandstands is living there for the week or whatever. You know, so if they race to the end of the night or
Yeah,
they
but
delay
you
a
look,
day, they're there.
look back. Yeah, but any of your really big races right now, none of them, not one race out there that's a marquee event happened quick.
Right.
It took years. You know, your National Open, your everything that goes on at Eldora has been a build. Lucas Oil come out of the gate with a unbelievable facility, but it still took some time for their events to grow.
And they're still
Eldora
trying to
took
make the
years.
sprint car.
Knoxville, yeah, Williams Grove, you know, National Open, all those shows, that took years. There was, you know, they didn't just come out of the gate monsters. You know, it just took time of just grinding it out to build those events into what they were. You know, it's like Short Track Nationals. I mean, it wasn't a monster day one. It just took time. And then, you know, when Jerry Davis sat up there and get in his brown water and throw the bonuses out for Steve Kinzer to get beat, word got out, and man, one thing led to another, and just all of the years that the Clay family ground on that event, it grew. And that's where we're at. We're trying to grind ourselves.
So he was saying suites are coming. Are you building stands around it like Bristol? What's all going to happen? What's the future idea outside of the grind?
Well, we do know the importance of suites. We're fixing to get to work on that, and we've got, you know, there's numbers. Everything turns into math, and your tickets sold is your math. So we know to have marquee events, we got to get X number of people to sit around to watch it. So we have plenty of parking. We can, you know, we've got 60 acres of ground there. We got all kinds of parking. So the problem's not parking. We just seats and suites. I mean, that's what we've got to focus on. So,
are you going to have stands
you know,
down the back straight away, or?
We're going to work with what's in the front just because of utilities, because of plumbing, electric, water. You know, utilities is on the front side of the property. Anytime you go all the way to the other side of something like that, then you turn into plumbing and electric and water and all your utilities. So we're going to build all we can on the front side first, and just try to get our numbers up that way. We've got room to grow with suites and quite a bit more seating in the front. So we're going to go into turn one and start building. We added about a 430 seat situation on the turn four end this year, earlier in the year. So now we're going to try to start going into turn one and expanding the seating we've got now.
Okay. Yeah, every time I think of quarter miles and Pinnacle, I think of Hobstadt, to be honest. I think they probably have the best setup for a quarter mile, where they got the stands down the front and the stands down the back. But that's probably the bigger issue why you don't see that anywhere else, is just plumbing and actual utilities. There's nothing ran. You'd have to dig up the whole ground and really construct stuff to make that happen.
Well, one of the problems that we run into with Texarkana, when they built the speedway, they went out in the back and dug a pond, and they put the dirt on top of a huge level, you know, a flat surface. So our racetrack is elevated up. So for us to do anything, for you to be able to see over the wall, we have to start at 7-8 foot off the ground. So we don't have the luxury of, you know, a lot of racetracks are built on the side of a hill or cut into the ground where you can tailgate or just pull up next to a wall, or we're not in that position. Our racetrack is 100% above ground. So to get to where you can see, you got to start at about an 8-foot elevation. So that creates a huge obstacle just right there in itself. So,
right. Well, at least you got the wall all the way around. That's different. That's probably added
the wall
to the
is a game
cushion.
changer. Oh, 100%. I mean, all day long you travel around. I mean, if you see marquee events or viral videos or, show wow factor shows, I feel like all the time mostly come from racetracks with walls around them.
Right.
It's kind of a no-brainer to me. It's easier to develop a cushion and contain everybody in. It's better visibility. It's better sight. Your lights are more effective when they're bouncing off of a wall instead of light penetrating out into, the beyond the top lip. And I just think the wall has a ton of benefits. It's easier on the maintenance side. You can bounce water off the wall. You can always come up with a better cushion and a better top, easier with a wall around it.
And then you said that's going to change. Are you putting a fence all the way around, or what do you mean?
The goal is, yes. The goal is to end up with a fence around it. We've got a lot of the piping and some of the cabling already on the facility, so it's just it's a work in progress. That's the end goal is, I don't know if there is an actual end goal, but in the future, yes, we're planning on fencing around on top of the wall and seats and suites.
Okay.
And lighting. Continue to improve on the lighting. So.
Okay. Well, it's almost 2 hours. I've had y'all on the phone. I guess it's probably best to let y'all go. Almost 11 o'clock, 3-hour show at this point. But yeah, good to catch up with Landon. I did not see that happen. Did he tell you he accidentally paid me tonight?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you heard him in the
maybe somebody can pay me.
it was only what,
Accidentally
$3.25. He accidentally paid me. Yes.
Yeah,
$3.50. All right.
monthly, but I won't pay for my subscription.
He's probably gonna already say it's a
I'll
fraud.
let y'all close this deal out.
The fraud charge.
It's been a long day.
Okay.
Right. So I guess you'll bless the facility with your presence come year's end.
I mean, it's going to be the baddest ass show of the year. I mean, I don't know if you heard my World of Outlaws schedule review, but
I don't know how you can miss it.
It's the best addition to the schedule.
Well, we closed the deal today. Today we did go ahead and close the deal. So the Ralph Henson Memorial in the middle of the year, our big fireworks event, is going to be an ASCS national show. So I'm going to tell you that.
Well, ASCS
it's not
national
been put out on the schedule. You're hearing it first right here.
Okay. Nice. ASCS national. It's still a big deal
July
down
11th.
there. That's still a big deal in the South, isn't it? ASCS national.
It is.
It's premier.
It'll be good. It was, we had a show this year here in 25 it's been watched 1 million times. I mean, that race was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the 360s down there. I know there's a 410 push nationally, it seems like right now, but the 360 still hanging on with the ASCS brand at least.
I'll let you close with Landon. I'm fixing to
put the paying customer on.
I'm an old man.
The paying customer.
Yeah, I'm going to be calling my bank tomorrow to let them know that the Chaz hacked my debit card.
It'll be Google, so I'll have Google on my side. It is Google.
All right, Chaz, I got to go to bed. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I'm gonna come back on your show and start commenting more and just let everybody know. Let everybody know what's up.
Okay.
All right. See you,
Well, thanks for calling. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was Landon Crawley on the show. Interesting. Yeah, great show. That was definitely different. I didn't see that one coming tonight. I was planning to talk about the stuff and then maybe have one of you drunks call in, but the sober person or sober thoughts. I'm sober for once on the show. We got a sober guest. This is good. Yeah, 3 hours, just past the 3-hour mark on the show. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Landon Crawley for calling, talking about all the racetracks and the stuff that's happening down there at 67. Once again, high bank short tracks are the way to go. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to like the video. As always, be sure to subscribe. And thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
spot 'em like Carson Macedo, and they growl about it, lonely like old bro Joe. Cartel gonna care for me, not you, cause I'm the CEO. I'm here to fight, looking to sink with my torpedo. I'm just a lap car trying to survive, running in the back, fearing my life. Cause there's a black 2041 guy adding to the junk in the field with some white on white crimes. Or is it 99 maybe? I don't give a damn, but the bake statements lately adding up through the junk that the crazy man's making. Reckon her, reckon him, non-binary, maybe, who knows? If I don't like him, I slide him like Carson Macedo.